Opening day, starting post for summer, symbol of our national pastime. With new stars, the old guard, and excitement for the present, and a dream of the future. All while holding history deep in our hearts. Our shared experience, the game we all love, has returned, and right on time.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Opening day around the major leagues, presented by Capital One. From Cincinnati, Ohio, in the Great American Ballpark, game one of 162, and the Cardinals hoping many more. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. Welcome to our St. Louis-based studios. That's Brad Thompson. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We are delighted that you're back with us for another season of Cardinals baseball, a season that really everybody's anticipating. You've got Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Yadi Waino back. Excitement back, too.
Yeah, so much excitement. It's exciting already just to see fans around Great American Ballpark, a view that we didn't see last year. And there's high expectation for this ball club, and rightfully so. Got a lot of great pieces here. The old guard is back, if you'll call him. I won't call him old. Yadi Waino back in the fold. This is going to be a fun year, Dan.
Jack Flaherty is on the mound, and that guy is in the lineup wearing Cardinal red. Nolan Arenado. Reds Cardinals coming up on Bally Sports.
Last couple of years the Cardinals had, but there was something missing. Maybe it's all those numbers that he's put up over the last couple of years in his career. This guy has been fantastic, a much-needed addition both offensively and defensively.
He'll be in the lineup today, batting third for St. Louis. On Bally Sports, Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. The scene, the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. There is a crowd, about 20% capacity for the Great American Ballpark. And in terms of the weather, it is flat out cold, 37 degrees for opening day, Brad Thompson.
Well, you know what? 37 degrees on opening day can feel like it's 75 and sunny, man. There's so much excitement around this, and just seeing the fans out there, it just feels different, doesn't it, Dan, after last year?
Sure does. Cardinals lineup is presented by Capital One. And the big change for St. Louis coming into 2021, Nolan Arenado. At the top, it's the switch hitter, Tommy Edman, Goldschmidt, Arenado, then DeYoung, O'Neill, Molina, Carlson, Williams, and Flaherty. Luis Castillo getting the start for the Reds. His first pitch is a ball, and we are underway in 2021. Departure of Colton Wong is given the second base position to Tommy Edman. Rolls over on that pitch to Jonathan India for the first out. Last season, 12 starts for Castillo. He did have a complete game, and that was against St. Louis. An exceptional changeup, and that'll be on display today.
It is really, really good. And you mentioned that complete game against the Cardinals. We saw a lot of what we just saw Tommy Edman do. We saw 15 groundouts in that ball game. Look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for Luis Castillo. That changeup is as good as it gets in baseball.
Here's Paul Goldschmidt, led the club in OPS last year, .883. Batted over 300, hit .304 to lead St. Louis. Big gap in left center, hits that high in the air out to deep right field. It's at the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Goldschmidt on his way to second base and standing up with a double, and he missed a home run by inches, or did he? Nope, we've got the first home run of the season off the top of the wall. Paul Goldschmidt, his first home run of 2021. The second batter in this season. 1-0 St. Louis. And with that, that is home run number 250 in his career.
Well, it seems like they're still looking at it here. I just love seeing this. The head down, beautiful swing, 96-mile-an-hour sinker. And you see it hit off the top of the wall, and I think that what they're looking at is, does it kick off? Does it hit that Planet Fitness sign? It looks like it stays in play here, Dan, but hard to tell.
And usually you can get a reaction by those in the bullpen that are right there. They have the best seat in the house, and they'll tell you whether or not that hit off maybe a sign behind that or not. So Goldschmidt waiting as we wait.
Well, in typical bullpen fashion, I think that you saw a couple of guys saying, that's a goner, waving the finger around. Didn't take long, though. Get into a ball game, drive a baseball, and then we get a replay.
Just what you want.
Hey, we'll take these kind of replays on offense, on doubles and homers. And that was part of the idea, right, of Mike Shildt setting up this lineup the way that he did early on. And it's sure to change a little bit. But Tommy Edman had a really nice spring, solidified that leadoff spot. And he wanted the opposition to see Goldie and Arenado in the first inning. And just tell you this from a former pitcher standpoint, that's not something you really want to see as we get another look here. Right off the top of the wall. And that's you mentioned the bullpen, right? So the bullpen's saying dinger. He's saying no chance. That thing didn't get out of here. There is that metal roof right behind, too. So if you hear that hit at all, you know it gets over it.
This is a crew chief review, which is done for potential home runs. And if it stands, by the way, career home run, like I said, number 250 for the Cardinal first baseman in his career.
It's a huge milestone, and one, look, if it doesn't happen here, I mean, heck, it could happen a little bit later on today. I just love seeing that. Goldie kind of picking up where he left off last year. A lot of the numbers overall, the Cardinals offense scuffled. Goldie didn't. Like, he bounced back and had the year that you kind of expected him to do, and inconsistency a little bit in 2019. The overall numbers were good, right, Dan? I mean, you look at the end of the day, but they weren't Goldie good. You know how high of a level he holds himself to.
And Goldschmidt now at 249.
You just took it away just like that?
Took it away.
Oh, man.
And Mike Shildt now out to visit with our umpires, Jem Reynolds, Tony Randazzo, Todd Titchener, and Chad Whitson, the umpiring crew for this opening day. And in steps Nolan Arenado. So just off the top of the wall in right field. And now Arenado, his first plate appearance as a St. Louis Cardinal. And Arenado looks at a strike. The big acquisition for St. Louis and a chance to make an impact right away, Nolan Arenado. And the 0-1 pitch is hit out of play. Had one home run this spring, and it happened in his final plate appearance down in Florida. Won the 2020 Gold Glove at third, his 8th straight year. So every year he's been in Major League Baseball, Arenado has taken home the Gold Glove. Battled through a bad shoulder a year ago. Numbers were down. And the 0-2 pitch to Nolan. Way upstairs, 1-2.
Not only did Nolan hit the home run in the last game in spring training, he called his shot beforehand.
Yeah.
He told Ollie Marmol, Cardinals bench coach, said, I'm going to hit a home run and get out of here. Let's just get this done. And lo and behold, hits one out to left. And I know Shildt joked about it. He thought he was going to hit first base and just keep running out the wagon gate in Roger Dean Stadium.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Arenado hits it up the middle. Diving stop That's India to keep it on the infield. So it's a base hit, his first as a Cardinal for Nolan Arenado. And advancing on the play, Paul Goldschmidt from second to third. Runners at the corners for the Cardinals.
Nice play by Jonathan India to keep it in there, and a good piece of hitting just by Nolan Arenado here. 2 strikes. You try to shorten up a little bit, put the baseball in play.
And Brad, this is a huge spot early this season for the Cardinals. Batting cleanup. Who hits behind Goldschmidt, Arenado to try to give them some type of protection?
Yeah, it's big. Just like we've talked about with Nolan Arenado being able to provide some protection for Goldschmidt, somebody's got to do it. It's got to end up being a long lineup, and Paul DeJong getting the first crack in the 4-hole.
And the first pitch taken for his strike is shift on the left side of the infield for the Cardinals shortstop. Outfield, they're deep and straight away. The 0-1 pitch to Paul DeJong. Fisted it, right side, base hit. Goldschmidt will score. 1-0 Cardinals. And Arenado to third. Ball gets away, but Paul DeJong staying put at first base, and the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead here in the first inning and 3 consecutive hits.
Well, it's exactly where Luis Castillo wanted it. He wanted the sinker in the hands. He got the sinker in on the hands, but a wide open right side as the Reds are shifted to the left. That's one as a pitcher. You say, man, I made my pitch. What can you do? And for Paul DeJong, all that is a laser in the book and an RBI.
Here's Tyler O'Neill. Runners at the corners for the Cardinals. O'Neill, 7 home runs a season ago and coming off a very good spring, and now he's hit by the pitch and the bases are loaded. You could not draw up a better start now for the Cardinals.
And for Luis Castillo, you have the long delay as they take a look at what ended up being a Paul Goldschmidt double. And you have a little single, make a pitch, ground ball up the middle, a squibber the other way, and you hit a batter. Tucker Barnhart out there just trying to slow him down a little bit. The thing about Castillo is he is 1 pitch away from 2 outs. Cardinals going to need to make him work a little bit here, and wouldn't be surprised at all to see Yadier Molina in a spot right here, up here swinging early. We're seeing Castillo steal strikes with that little get me over slider. Might see him jump on one.
17th straight opening day started catcher Yadier Molina. New Year, same booze in Cincinnati as he's greeted by the fans. And Yadi is swinging. And it's under the glove of Suarez and into left, and 2 runs will score, and it's a 3-0 St. Louis lead. Put the ball in play, good things happen. 3-0 St. Louis. And Eugenio Suarez, third baseman last year, now it's shortstop. And the first one hit to him, problematic.
Well, you knew that this was going to be a storyline at some point throughout the year, and this is a ball that Eugenio just never gets down on. Not hit incredibly hard by Yadier Molina, but he's trying to turn 2 before he even has the baseball. This is a thing. We've seen them do this before. We saw Mike Moustakas last year play out of position. You try to put your best offensive lineup out in the field, well, it can have ramifications. This is a big one right here for the Reds.
Cincinnati was the best defensive team last year in terms of fielding percentage, and that one is hit out to right. It's at the wall, gone! It's a home run! Dylan Carlson. He's still a rookie and already making his impact felt again. Dylan Carlson, 3-run bomb, 6-0 in the first inning for St. Louis.
The boos come raining down on the young Dylan Carlson. I mean, look at this thing. Center cut, middle in fastball. The timing perfect right here. See the head down on contact. Beautiful finish for Dylan Carlson, and right off the foul pole. I mean, you mentioned it a second ago, Dan. Can't script it any better. This is the kind of momentum you love seeing from a Cardinal offense.
3-run homer, Dylan Carlson. He had 3 homers all last year. And here's Justin Williams. Ground ball that's hit to second. India is there. Low throw picked out by Votto. And the second out here in the top of the first. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Winker, Senzel, Castellanos in the outfield. Moustakas, Suarez, India, Votto on the infield, and behind the plate it is Tucker Barnhart. Jack Flaherty, a career 160 hitter. Not bad in the opener to get your starting pitcher up in the first inning.
Just love seeing this after spring training, and we're guilty of this all the time. You watch and you say, oh, look, the offense isn't moving a lot. Well, it's moving now.
The Cardinals struggled hitting in first innings last year. Only 22 runs in their 58 games in the first inning. That was 5th worst in all of baseball, and what a start here in 2021. One ball and 2 strikes. And that's hit out to right. The catch made by Nick Castellanos. Cardinals pick up 6, and 3 of them with one swing of the bat. A rocket off the bat of Dylan Carlson. Oh, it's so nice. Baseball is back in 2021. Well, Mike Schilt has to be thrilled with the start here this 2021 campaign. 6-0 after a half inning, and let's turn to Brad Thompson's Toyota key to the game.
Well, I should have got started on my key to the game a little bit earlier. Get started early is the key to the game for the Cardinals, and I would say that 6 runs on 4 hits, the 3-run home run by Dylan Carlson, that is part of it. The idea is just get the offense going. We know the struggles offensively this ball club has had in the last couple of years. They've got the right pieces in place. Now let's see what they do with it. So far, so good, Dan.
Jack Flaherty is on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals, gets his second opening day assignment. And if you take out one start from last year, 3 innings, gave up 9 runs against Milwaukee, the numbers look a whole lot different. It's tough, as you know, Brad, when you're limited in innings, you can't get the ERA back down. So the number is not quite indicative of really how well he pitched in times last year.
No, it's not. And you know Jack Flaherty will make no excuses. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Jack Flaherty, the fastball, great slider, curveball, 2-seam he throws every once in a while, and the changeup as well. There was so much up in the air last year for the Cardinals, as we know. Jack Flaherty made the opening day start against the Pirates in July and then didn't make his second start until 26 days after that. So many things changed for Jack throughout the year, but we know what he did in the second half of 2019. We know what his sights are set on doing this year. And this is where it starts for Jack Flaherty. And also right here, right now, after your team just put up 6, you got a responsibility. Pound the strike zone, go right after these guys, and get those hitters back in the dugout.
Jesse Winker will lead it off, followed by Nick Castellanos, and then the longtime first baseman of the Reds, Joey Votto. Eugenio Suarez, Moustakas, Senzel, India, Barnhart, and Castillo. So Reds team, and it's just hard to figure out why they did not hit with some of the names they have in their lineup, but they did not hit well. They batted as a team .212. The previous low for the Reds in their history was .227, and that was back in 1908.
Woo. Do factor, I guess. No, you're right. You look at some of the guys that they have, and they've got a talented group. There's no question about it. But it just didn't come together. They're a ball club, at least last year. I don't know what the MO is going to be. It's live by the home run, die by the home run. That's what they're swinging for.
1 ball and 1 strike. Winker had an OPS that was one of the best against right-handed pitching on breaking balls. So we'll see if Flaherty wants to go hard. He's got the good slider, but will he see a majority of fastballs? There it is again, and he hammers it into right. Reds have their first base hit. Williams is there, quickly back into the infield. And his throw just a bit offline, and it's a leadoff double for Jesse Winker.
Yachty wants this thing in, just kind of leaks over the plate a little bit more than you'd like to see, belt high. Jesse Winker, as you mentioned, he is a very good off-speed hitter, but he's got quick hands as well. There is room inside, but you got to make sure you tie it up, don't let it leak back over.
Castellanos had 14 home runs last year in his first season with the Reds. Hit .225, drove in 34. But the Cardinals really kept him in check. While he enjoyed success against a lot of other clubs, against St. Louis, struggled.
Well, this matchup on the surface doesn't appear to be very advantageous for Castellanos. Struggles against the slider. Jack Flaherty with one of the better sliders in the game when he's on. I'm sure we'll see a few of them here.
And a fly ball out to right. Williams back. And he makes the catch, crashes up against the wall. Winker tagging up, and he'll stop at third. Terrific play in right, Justin Williams. The presence of mind to quickly get it back in, because easily Winker could have probably scored.
Yeah, you could tell he was thinking about it right there. It was a very good play, and Justin Williams hits the wall very hard here. You see his body just jar as he hits it. Winker does a good job, tags up, sees it in the glove. House stops him.
Here's Votto and a shift on the right side of the infield. Now 37 years of age and a contract that's paying him $25 million a year through 2023. And you're going to notice, and we've seen a lot of at-bats for Votto, and it looks like the Cardinals may appeal here. They do, and the ruling is safe.
It has been a long time, Dan, and maybe I just have a horrible memory, that I can remember an appeal working.
I don't know if we've ever seen it.
It's
happened,
rare.
but I don't remember it either.
There's a reason that there's an appeal, and there are obviously players that leave early, but you just very rarely see it.
Look at the stance here by Joey Votto. More upright, kept in front by Molina on that slider. Staying put, Winker. He said he wants to be dangerous again. He's trying to hit for more power, and Votto changed his stance at the end of last season. More upright, trying to drive the ball a little bit more. And once again, Yachty being Yachty.
That's just what he does right there. Yeah, we've seen Joey Votto throughout his career. We've seen him being the guy that can draw a walk and hit the big home run too, but the game is trending in a different direction here where power is king, so you might have to sell out for it a little bit more. I like that pitch right there by Jack Flaherty. Remember, Joey Votto did miss some time in spring training, came down with COVID, just recently came back, played 9 innings in the last couple of ball games, but they weren't sure if he was going to be able to make this opening day roster.
1 ball, 1 strike. Nasty pitch there by Jack Flaherty. This is opening day start number 13 in a row for Votto, which passes Johnny Bench, and behind only Barry Larkin 17, Davey Concepcion at 15. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt to the backstop. Reds get on the board on a wild pitch, and that makes it a 6-1 game.
You can just see Jack Flaherty on this pitch, rare back. He was trying to blow one right by Joey Votto, a fastball away, and just holds on to this thing way too long. Yadier Molina, I don't care how many gold gloves you have, how many platinum gloves you have, it's very hard to stop 96. That bounces well in front of the plate.
And the 2-2 to Votto. Get out of play down the left field line. 2-2 again. And here comes a 3-2 pitch. Flaherty to Votto. Hits it a mile high, left side of the infield, and Arenado is there to put it away. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Cardinals defense on the opener in Cincinnati: O'Neill, Carlson, and Williams. And on the infield, Arenado, 8-time Gold Glover, DeYoung, Edman, Goldschmidt, and behind the plate, Yadier Molina. 9 Gold Gloves for Yadi. Eugenio Suarez, costly play in the first inning. The ball that snuck under his glove very easily could have been a double play. It was Yadi that hit it, so they may have had a chance to turn 2. They didn't. Got to Carlson, and he hits a 3-run homer.
Yeah, that play that you're talking about off the bat of Yadier Molina, that's just going back to learning that position again for Eugenio Suarez. He came up as a shortstop, was traded over to the Reds from Detroit as a shortstop, but has played a lot of third base. And then that turn, you feel like you have to be quick, and he was already looking up.
1 ball and 1 strike on Suarez. Catches the bottom of the zone. 1-2. Jack Flaherty, his spikes, remembering both Lou Brock and Bob Gibson. Pictures of the Cardinal Hall of Famers are there. And Flaherty has his first strikeout of 2021. Reds pick up a run on a wild pitch. It's 6-1 after 1. Cardinals and Reds opening up 2021 in Cincinnati, and it's 6-1 St. Louis. T-Mobile is your ticket to the game, and now through April 5th, customers can score a free MLB TV subscription at T-Mobile.com/MLB. With Brad Thompson, I'm Dan McLaughlin. You're watching Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports. We're in the studios here in St. Louis. And Tommy Edman takes a strike. Great American Ballpark opened up in 2003, and that is the 9th time the Cardinals have scored 6 or more runs in an inning at the Great American Ballpark. As Tommy backs away from that, 1 ball, 1 strike, grounded out to second, his first time up.
Can happen quickly in that building, can it, Dan?
Big time. We always say it, no lead is safe. You hear it all the time. It's cliche, but that is true at the Great American Ballpark. That's the pitch that Edman sometimes struggles with. That changeup gets out in front.
Yeah, it's the one, too, that Castillo has the most success with. He'll throw it against right-handers and left-handers. The big adjustment that he made last year was getting those 2 pitches to come out at the same spot. You'll hear about pitch tunneling.
And Tommy lifts a fly ball down the left field line, and the catch made by Jesse Winker. Pitch tunneling.
Well, yeah, just especially with Luis Castillo and any pitcher, really, you just want everything to come out of your hands looking the same. And he's got such a good sinker and such a good changeup. And you have to either adjust to 87 or 97 as a hitter. But if the hand is off a little bit on the changeup, you can pick it up easier. He did a good job of hiding it.
Paul Goldschmidt hit a fly ball to right off the top of the wall. Initially ruled a home run, then reviewed, and he was given a double. So 1 shy of 250 in his career. There's that good changeup. He's got sinking action with that as well.
It just sells it like a fastball. That's the key to any good changeup. A changeup is a power pitch. Your grip ends up taking the velocity off.
0-2 pitch. The shift on the left side of the infield. They shade in the outfield to right center. Very cold day in Cincinnati. Game time temperature of 37 degrees. That'll be a foul ball. Might have some of those stingers for those hitters today. Ouch.
Yeah, well, it is, especially as cold as it is, you'd think, riding the pitch inside. Now, Paul DeJong, his first at-bat, that probably would have hurt really bad had it not been an RBI single the other way. But, yeah, there is going to be a lot of that, and it's about the pitcher who is going to be able to execute those pitches on the inner half who will have success today.
Yanked foul. Well, 6 runs in the first. New best for the Cardinals in the modern era. So that's since 1900 on an opening day on the road. Previous high was 5 in 1982. That was a pretty good year for St. Louis. Dylan Carlson, a 3-run homer. Here's a 1-2. Hit sharply towards short. Suarez settles. Low throw gets away. And Votto's throw to second is not in time. Might be a base hit and an error. We'll see.
Yeah, you go from 0-2 to standing on second base here, though. He hits this one pretty well. Suarez actually makes a nice play on it, gathers himself. Going to be a tough pick for Joey Votto. Here's a shortstop. You either are on a line totally or you give a longer hop is what you're trying to do. This one here, kind of, Joey Votto should pick that. He'll tell you that, but you'd like to have one or the other, either the really long hop or hit him in the chest.
Nolan Arenado with an infield hit, run scored back in the first. And ball 1. It is going to be a privilege to watch this man play baseball day in and day out.
This already looks right, though. Just seeing him wearing the birds on the bat, it feels like he's been doing this for a long time, and he's had one at bat under his belt.
Yep.
Castillo making a lot of mistakes here. I know he's got a couple of strikes here in the at-bat or get a foul ball here. But arm side, he's missing. The ball is just flying off. You see him leave a couple over the middle. He throws a slider and makes that same mistake. There's that cement mixer right down the middle.
1 ball, 1 strike. Arenado, the 5th different third baseman for the Cardinals on opening day in the last 6 years. Arenado breaks his bat and a base hit into center. Goldschmidt being waved in. He will score. Nolan Arenado, his first run batted in as a Cardinal, and he's 2 for 2 on opening day.
That sinker in. It's actually a really good pitch there by Castillo. Breaks the bat of Nolan Arenado, but just strong enough to muscle it out there.
The Cardinals with a 7-1 lead.
No surprise, but great base running again by Paul Goldschmidt. Sees it right off the bat, knows where the defense is.
And DeJong hits it sharply to third. Out there, the turn, and it's a double play. Arenado 2 for 2, and it's 7-1.
Head to the bottom of the second in Cincinnati. The Cardinals were a playoff team in 2020, but they had to overcome an awful lot of obstacles along the way. Individually, some players fared better than others. Jack Flaherty was never quite the Jack Flaherty we were used to seeing. He was dealing with more than just having to stay sharp by throwing a ball into a hotel mattress. His mom, Eileen, was also dealing with a health issue. Flaherty told me he's not making any excuses. He said, I just have to do a better job at controlling what I can. I'm not looking back. Flaherty says his big takeaway from 2020 was about the team. He said, we can handle any type of adversity. that's thrown in front of us. No matter the circumstances, we are going to compete. Danny, the Cards did deal with an awful lot last season.
Oh, that's an understatement to say the least. As you know, Jimmy, and great to have you back with us. Good fastball there by Flaherty. Dylan Carlson, 22 years, 160 days, young. And he's the third youngest ever to hit an opening day home run in baseball history. That's incredible.
By the look of that swing, that approach, we're going to see a lot of them off the bat of Dylan Carlson. I don't care if you're an uber prospect or a veteran player, getting that one out of the way. Opening day 3-run bomb, that feels good.
That's tap foul by Mike Moustakas, Nick Senzel on deck, and then Jonathan India.
We see Jack Flaherty a lot, likes to go away and freeze hitters with 2 strikes with that fastball.
And a fly ball into left field. Catch made by Tyler O'Neill. Nick Senzel played in just 23 games a year ago, hit 186. The Cardinals on the left sleeve with a patch honoring late great Bob Gibson. Jack Flaherty doing that with both Bob Gibson and Lou Brock with his spikes today. And the Reds honoring also Joe Morgan, the Little General. Couple of MVPs in 75 and 76, and that's the patch for Bob Gibson. And the 0-1 pitch fouled back. Awesome. Love it.
It was really neat.
Beautiful tribute to both Lou and Bob and the spikes of Jack Flaherty. Joe Morgan, a 10-time All-Star, 5 Gold Gloves, part of the Big Red Machine. And his number 8 is retired by Cincinnati. First ballot Hall of Famer in 1990. Here's a 1-2. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Jack Flaherty.
We'd like to see Jack settle right back in the second inning. Little slider here down under the zone. That's the key. Doesn't always have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be away on the corner, but just down. If you're down, those ones oftentimes as a hitter look good, then they fall off the table.
It's a former first-round pick, 5th overall in 2018. Jonathan India played at the University of Florida and had a terrific spring, so they bring him north.
You do have to wonder, and look, obviously we're 2 innings into this here, but 2 balls hit to Eugenio Suarez at shortstop. How long of a leash they kind of give him there?
Generally speaking, yeah, and obviously it's early, but I think to your point, you give it a few weeks, some series, maybe a month or 2, and then if you figure that, hey, this isn't going to work, then you got to make the adjustment.
Yeah, then maybe Moustakas ends up going back to second. Obviously, Jonathan India himself has a lot to do with this. A guy that his first couple of years at college in Florida, just kind of an okay guy, bust out his junior year and was the 5th pick.
That's out of play. India, the first Reds second baseman to make his major league debut on opening day since Pete Rose in 1963. One-two pitch. Doesn't get that call. Full count. A couple of strikeouts so far for Flaherty. No walks. Yachty looking back saying, sure about that?
Jim, where'd you have it? Jim
Right.
Reynolds, though, showing you that he will give you under the zone a little bit. So just be on the lookout for that.
3-2, and that time he got him. Back-to-back Ks. 3 in this game so far for Flaherty. And Dylan Carlson is due up third when we come back. Make sure you download the Major League Baseball app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Cardinals. Tyler O'Neill was hit by a pitch back in the first and scored on the 3-run homer hit by Dylan Carlson. Cardinals, if you just joined us, 6 runs in the first and tacked on another last inning on the second hit of the game by Nolan Arenado. He's 2 for 2. 7-1. Thought Tyler O'Neill really made some adjustments when we were watching the games in spring training. About he's always had the short, quick, powerful swing, but taking the ball the other way, using all fields.
Yeah, trusting his hands. Hands are so quick.
Foul territory, and the catch made by Castellanos. The most opening day starts by a catcher in the history of the game. Amazingly, 20, Pudge Rodriguez. First pitch to Yachty is taken for a strike. This is number 17 for him as he passes Benito Santiago at 16. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'll tell you one thing right now, Dan, I wouldn't put it past Yachty at all to chase down Pudge Rodriguez. You just never know. He don't look like he's slowing down at all.
Just wouldn't seem right.
No.
With Yachty wearing another jersey.
No, and that's a conversation that you and I and Cardinal fans had a lot this offseason when he was a free agent.
Hit to short. Suarez, and he makes the play. A sarcastic cheer from the fans in Cincinnati in inning number 3 of a 162 game schedule as you get a look at the home run hit by Carlson earlier. But Suarez has already committed 2 errors.
Hey, when it comes down to it, keep testing him, right? Put the ball in play. That's going to be a big key. I know that we talk about 3 true outcomes quite a bit, and I really enjoyed watching one of those true outcomes off the bat of Dylan Carlson. But putting the ball in play and putting pressure on the opposition works.
Our Indeed player resume. Looking at the Cardinal center fielder. That was his second time through, and the very good numbers that Dylan put up. It was a struggle at first, and the other thing that Dylan Carlson did a lot was he would fall behind because he'd take a lot of pitches early on, and all of a sudden, what does he do in his first at bat this year? Jumps on that first pitch.
Don't mess around, because that's a lesson you learn quickly when you get to the big leagues is you don't get multiple mistakes in an at bat. These guys are just so good. They're so fine. If you see something you could drive, be aggressive.
2-1 pitch. Good changeup, 2-2. He was also pitched awfully tough. A lot of times pitched backwards, meaning he wasn't seeing a lot of fastballs early in counts. And generally speaking, not seeing many fastballs at all.
That's just baseball now, too. So you kind of have to adjust to that. But
Back-to-back changeups there. Carlson was 2 for 16 last season against the Reds.
I just liked after he came back the way that not even like all of the balls that he put in play and the hard hit rates were up, contact was up, all of that. I like the takes even better. He was just seeing it better.
And takes another changeup, low and outside, and a 2-out walk. Justin Williams 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. Reds, their departures from a year ago. Freddie Galvis, who was their shortstop better part of last season. Trevor Bauer won the Cy Young. He's now with the Dodgers. And Raisel Iglesias with the Angels. Another ground ball and a flip to Suarez. No runs for the Cardinals in the top of the third, midway through 3, and it's 7-1.
In Cincinnati as we head to the home half of the inning from Great American Ballpark. A large lead thanks in large part to that guy, the rookie Dylan Carlson, with a 3-run home run in the first inning. His parents watching from California today, certainly proud of the start Carlson had to this ball game today. His dad Jeff told me yesterday Dylan worked so hard this offseason. All he could do was talk about making it back to the postseason. He said he wants nothing more than to be a part of the team that brings a championship back to St. Louis. Now, the family watching from California today, they plan to be in St. Louis for the home opener next week. But a busy day of baseball today for the Carlson family, a doubleheader. His brother Tanner playing for Long Beach State later today. He's a shortstop in their program, guys.
All right, Erica, thank you. Tucker Barnhart, Luis Castillo, and Jesse Winker for Cincinnati. Barnhart hitting only left-handed now after switch hitting for the majority of his career. Reds non-tendered Kurt Casale, Barnhart's backup, so you got Tyler Stevenson now, and he's on their bench. Wonder how difficult this has been this day, and you would know this, Brad, playing in cold weather games, but grip of the baseball on a day like today, and it's only going to get colder in Cincinnati. Started at 37 degrees. And that one did catch Barnhart. Looked like maybe the cleat caught for Jack Flaherty.
It did look like that. Interesting timing, though, to talk about just grip on a pitch that totally gets away from Jack Flaherty. That's one thing on days like this. It's frustrating when you get a bunch of different baseballs back that all feel different. And Major League Baseball has changed the ball this year. They've made some adjustments to it because the seam heights had been so much different the last couple of years. You see Barnhart take that one off the bounce. But for the pitcher, I mean, you just got to continue to have a little bit of moisture on your finger. You can, I believe you can go to the mouth this year off the rubber. So a little bit different than last year with the COVID rules.
Here's Castillo, drops down a bunt, a beauty. Yachty has it. Edman covering the bag at first, and the sacrifice is good. His 12th career sacrifice. Kickoff Cardinals opening weekend. Take home a mystery Cardinals Hall of Fame parade bobblehead. It's courtesy of Ford. 10,000 fans entering with a ticket April 10th and 11th. Will be surprised with a bobblehead featuring either Stan the Man, Jack Buck, or Tony La Russa. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Tony back in baseball, managing the White Sox.
It feels right, doesn't it? Maybe not like back to the White Sox, but although full circle for his career. But just him having a W or an L next to his name again. You know how much he loves that.
The age of 76.
He's a young 76, though.
You got it. Cardinals will face the White Sox this year in interleague play. We're in the bottom of the third, and a runner at second. One out, top of the lineup now, Jesse Winker. And he yanks one foul for strike one.
That's the thing about Tony La Russa, too. You know, he's not just going to take a job just to take a job. Oh, that sounds fun. No, he was going to have a, if he was going to do it again, it was going to have to be the right fit. And that ball club has got a nice mix of veteran talent, young up-and-coming stars. They're going to be fun to watch this year.
Should be very good. Lucas Giolito getting the start for the White Sox on opening day. Max Fried getting a start, and this young man, Jack Flaherty, all from Harvard Westlake High School. Now, you got to tell me how they lost any games. Number one, how they didn't win a state title, I don't know. But they have 3 opening day starters from the same high school on the same team.
It's amazing. No, it is absolutely amazing. It was funny. I was going over some notes this morning, and I was talking to my son, and I mentioned that little tidbit to him. He said, "Dad, can I go to that high school?" Like, well, see what I can do, buddy.
Yeah. One ball and 1 strike.
These are the counts when Jack is comfortable, that he does such a good job of when he's behind in the count. All right, well, here's the breaking ball down in the zone. Get right back into it. He's just got such a good feel, whether it's the curveball to the lefty or the slider.
The 2-1. The check swing did not go. It's Chad Whitson, the third base umpire. Inning started with Barnhart, the 8th place hitter, getting hit by a pitch. Castillo, the sacrifice. And now the 3-1. Three and 2. Winker doubled his first time up into right, then eventually came around and scored on a wild pitch.
Yeah, the double was on a fastball. Jack Flaherty was trying to get it inside because there is room in there, and he'll expand a little bit inside, but you got to make sure you get it in. It leaked over the plate, belt high.
(3-2) and he struck him out. 4th strikeout for Flaherty. That tailed back in and froze him.
Well, Winker's not happy here, but he doesn't have a beef. This is a perfect pitch by Jack Flaherty, and what set it up is how long he held the ball beforehand. He had Winker in there uncomfortable a little bit, and then delivers a perfect pitch on the inner half.
Nick Castellanos was robbed by Justin Williams his first time up. A play in which Williams went back, crashed into the wall, and made the catch.
That play that you're talking about is kind of an example that the Reds point to a lot about Castellanos and Eugenio Suarez. A lot of bad luck, batted ball luck, because the barrel rates were high for these guys. The hard hit rates were high, but averages were way down. Again, living and dying by the home run last season.
So you have BABIP, if you want to go into that, batting average and balls in play. It was .245. That's the second worst in modern history, behind only the Yankees' .241 mark in 1968.
Sounds a little unlucky.
That's unlucky.
Especially when you couple in all the hard hit rates. It wasn't just like soft contact all the time.
So it gives you an idea that live and die with a home run, or the 3 true outcomes: walk, home run, strikeout. There's a 1-0 pitch to Castellanos. Good pitch. 1-1.
Just a good slider that starts off the plate. Going back to the idea of living and dying by the home run, the Cincinnati Reds last year, 59.7% of their runs came via the long ball. That was by far the most in baseball. The Dodgers behind them at 51%.
It's incredible. 1-1. Lifted out to left. And a home run hit for Nicholas Castellanos, his first of the year. And it cuts a lead to 7-3.
right on cue, talking about the scoring from the Reds last year. Came all via the long ball. Really long one here. First at bat, he drives one the other way. This time, kind of sinker inside, gives it a little hop and crushes this thing into the second tank. That's the danger of this lineup. They got a lot of guys in there. You look overall, Winker with a lot of power off the top. Castellanos, Joey Votto, as you mentioned before, has kind of changed things up.
And Votto hits a fly ball out to Justin Williams in right field. He'll make the catch. 109.7 miles per hour off the bat of Castellanos. 7-3. Raise funds to benefit children in the community by purchasing a 50-50 raffle ticket. Weekly raffles open every Monday and run through Sunday, and one lucky winner will win 50% of the pot each week. You must be in the state of Missouri at the time of purchase. Visit cardinals.com/5050 for tickets. With Brad Thompson, I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're in the studios of Bally Sports here in St. Louis. Cardinals in Cincinnati, where it is cold. And the Cardinals have a 7-3 lead. We're in the top of the fourth. Jack Flaherty leads it off. He lined out his first time up to right. On deck, Tommy Edman and then Paul Goldschmidt. Cardinals, if you're just joining us, picked up 6 runs in the first, highlighted by the 3-run homer hit by Dylan Carlson. Pitch number 49 for Castillo.
Those are the calls as a pitcher hitting. You don't even look back. You say, fine, that's going to be a strike. That's fine. I'll take that one as well.
Well, you know, Adam Wainwright is happy that the DH isn't quite in the National League just yet. He's right at about his average about 200.
199 he's sitting at right now. Yeah, he's looking to get over that hump, and if you're watching this and you are a traditional National League fan, soak it in, because chances are this is the last you're going to see. And Dan, we had this conversation a lot off air of it wouldn't have shocked us within the last week if the DH just popped in. It sounded like there continued to be conversations down to the wire if it was going to happen this year.
Zach Greinke is trying to become a 10-10 man, 10 home runs, 10 stolen bases, and he would join the great Bob Gibson in that category, a rarity for any pitcher. Here's a 1-2. And he just got a piece to stay alive. Up and in. Great American Ballpark, about 20% capacity allowed in, and as we go on throughout the summer, we're hoping those restrictions will loosen up and see even more fans at the ballpark. Changeup taken low.
Jack making him work. 9 pitches in this at bat so far. It is nice to see people back in the stands, isn't it, Dan?
Such a difference. 3-2 pitch, and Flaherty fights it off.
It's 10 pitches now. That's the thing with Jack Flaherty. You're looking to get a hit for sure, but you want to make it tough on the opposition. Get that pitch count up. Get in that bullpen early on.
3-2 again to Flaherty, and he draws a walk. Leadoff walk, Jack Flaherty. The second walk issued by Castillo. Well, remember when spring training started, it was going to be a competition, potentially. Tommy Edman, Matt Carpenter. Carpenter struggled in spring, and Tommy Edman ran with it. Hit about 350 in spring. Was really good. He's a good, solid defensive player. And replaces Colt Wong in that spot.
He had hit some leadoff in the minor leagues, but it was good to see him run with this. Because when you're looking at the lineup overall, like, he was the guy that kind of made the most sense initially. Good speed, switch hitter. You'd love to see at some point the walk rate for Tommy Edman go up a little bit, but what he does do, he's aggressive within the strike zone. Doesn't matter how you get on, hit your way on. It's a beautiful thing.
Tommy is 0 for 2, grounded to second, flied to left, takes a pitch high. Now, today was supposed to be the first day that all teams would play on the same day since 1968. But the Nationals and Mets postponed due to COVID protocol. Baltimore and Boston postponed due to weather in Boston. There's a changeup for a strike.
You said something there that I hope I don't hear you say again this season.
COVID protocol.
That's the one.
Yep.
It's the COVID protocol one, because as the Cardinals very well know, they can throw a little bit of a wrinkle in your season. What an amazing, crazy year it was. And it had been such a good spring training as far as testing goes. Like, there were only a couple of cases out of the thousands of tests they did in spring training. And unfortunately for the Nationals, they get one player tested positive. They had 4 others close contact. And it's something that hopefully we're on the horizon of getting past this.
That's in the dirt. Well, you got a left-handed batter at the plate in Tommy Edman. Your pitcher is running at first, so Joey Votto is kind of off the bag and then moving behind Jack Flaherty. Count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cardinals with 7 runs on 5 hits so far. They lead 7-3. And Tommy stays alive. Cardinals, many of the players traveling party received vaccines when they landed from Florida into Cincinnati the other night. And you have to have 85% in your traveling party or more to have the loosening of the restrictions and the protocol set forth by Major League Baseball, and they have met that. That's it out of play.
The loosening of restrictions, it's a big deal. I mean, it kind of makes going back to the ballpark feel normal again. It would be the loosening of restrictions is, you know, not having to wear the mask in the dugout, the masks in the bullpen, not getting your clubhouse amenities back. So whether it's ping pong tables, pool tables, video game consoles, hot tubs, saunas, like, there's a lot of just normal everyday stuff that the Cardinals, and not the Cardinals, Major League Baseball teams haven't had access to in the last year. It'll be nice to get those back.
2-2, rolled over by Edman, racing down the first base line and safe, not picked by Votto. And Flaherty to second base. The defense here early on for the Reds has been poor.
It's been a couple of picks too that Joey Votto should have had. That one, I mean, it's an awkward angle. The throw is kind of hidden behind Tommy Edman, but a play you'd like him to have. And then there was one earlier, Suarez got the error on it, but a play that Joey Votto normally would have.
Assuming they're going to give him a base hit on this.
I would think so.
Have to see for sure.
But I thought Goldschmidt was going to get a base hit on his as well, and that didn't happen.
So Derek Johnson, the pitching coach for the Reds, out to visit with Castillo. His pitch count at 63. 28.8 feet per second by Tommy Edman. And that's top 30 speed in all of baseball. He can absolutely fly. Cardinals have speed in their lineup, especially when Bader is healthy. You mix in Bader, Tommy Edman, Carlson can run, O'Neill can run. It's a more athletic group than they've had.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the question, is how does Mike Schilt want to deploy some of that speed? Is it just going to be simply, hey, great base runners, good jumps, taking the extra bag? Or is it going to be a little bit what we saw in 2019 where the Cardinals tied the Nationals with 116 stolen bases? I'd like to see a little of that.
Here's Goldschmidt. Reached on an error by Suarez back in the second. He's already scored 2 runs in this game. And the 1-0 pitch hit the other way. Base hit, Goldschmidt. Flaherty to third. He'll be waved in. He will score easily. Paul Goldschmidt is second hit. And it's now an 8-3 St. Louis lead.
It looks simple when he does it, right? Get the spinning slider, ends up catching too much of the plate. Wide open right side. It just looks like he's just trying to shoot it right through that hole. Just a veteran hitter, veteran approach.
Now Arenado, he's 2 for 2 in his first Cardinal game. He scored a run. He's brought one in. Runners at the corners. And at this point, I have not seen anybody get up yet for the Reds in their pen. Goldschmidt, the runner at first base. Tommy Edman at third. Wild pitch, gets away. Here comes a runner to score, and that adds to the Cardinal lead. It's now 9-3. And Goldschmidt takes second base. This has been a very poor defensive game for the Reds.
It certainly has. This one here, Tucker Barnhart just can't get in front of it, catches the side of his glove. Not the easiest thing to corral, but pitches that we've seen Tucker be able to stop before. And again, the only reason Tommy Edman on there, a play that Castillo couldn't make and make cleanly, and Votto couldn't pick at first.
Arenado pops it foul and out of play. Nolan Arenado taking a look at our StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. His numbers from 2020, in which he hit 8 home runs, and despite a bad shoulder, still would have led the Cardinals in home runs with those 8.
I think fans are going to get some souvenirs this year from Nolan Arenado. Just my thought.
It's coming. The 1-2 pitch. Arenado pulls it foul. It's the 3rd time he's been up in this game. The previous 2 runners in scoring position, and that's the case here. One ball and 2 strikes. 2-2.
You can hear too with some of these close pitches, the good takes, the foul balls with 2 strikes. You can hear the Cardinals dugout chirping a little bit, pumping each other up. They're liking these at bats they're seeing.
The 2-2, he goes down to get it into center, diving catch. Nick Senzel takes a hit away from Nolan Arenado, and a fine play in center field by Senzel.
I really thought this thing was going to get down off the bat. Nolan Arenado goes down and get it. Senzel tracking it the entire way. Looks like it's going to fall in the gap. Nice athletic play. As a pitcher's
going to be it for Castillo.
They've been struggling anyhow. You're happy to see something like that. Not going to be enough in this ball game.
So pitching change coming up. We'll tell you about that change when we come back. Cardinals on top in the first of 162. Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. And opening day is presented by Capital One. Great American Ballpark. Cardinals with a 9-3 lead. And this is Cam Bedrosian. Last year, his numbers in 11 games in our Chevy called to the pen. Certainly not what they envisioned out of Castillo.
No, he just looked a little bit off the sinker and the changeup. Threw some good ones, but overall missing a lot arm side. He's going to be just fine, but not the start that the Reds were looking for here.
In their bullpen, they've got Lucas Sims, Carson Fulmer, Bedrosian, Romano, and Antone from the right side. Garrett, Doolittle, and Perez from the left. So runner at second, one out for Paul DeYoung, who is 1 for 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Well, the last time we saw Castillo, it was a 2-hitter in September at Busch Stadium. He went the distance. 3 1/3 today, and the last time he allowed 7 or more earned in a game was August 16th, 2019, 20 starts ago, and that was against the Cardinals. He did pitch into the 5th, but allowed 8 earned. Shift on the left side, big gap in left center, and the 1-2 pitch to Paul DeYoung. Yanked foul.
It's going to be one of those outings for Luis Castillo. You just won't want to look at the ERA for a while. You just chip away at that bad boy. Luis Castillo, one bad start doesn't hurt you for an entire year. Castillo is a guy that obviously, after we've seen him the last couple of years, has Cy Young type stuff.
The 1-2 pitch to DeYoung. Wanted it up there, got it there, fouled back. It's the pitch that he's trying to stay away from. A lot of teams have gotten him out on those fastballs up.
They just look so good.
Yeah,
they look so hittable, and it's a dangerous pitch as a pitcher. Like I think that Luis Castillo is actually a really good example of this. There are some times where he'd like to elevate, but that's just not his game. His game is at the bottom of the zone. Not everybody can execute that pitch up. Bedrosian can, though. But you better make sure you get it up there. He'll make you pay for it.
Here's a 1-2. Got him. That's the pitch there that we're talking about. That is the first Cardinals strikeout in this game, as Castillo did not strike out a man.
No, and Castillo might not have had the best stuff, but credit to the Cardinals hitters in the approach that they had with 2 strikes. We saw guys shorten up. We saw guys try to put the ball in play, fight off, battle. You don't always have to put up a 6 spot in an inning. While it's nice to do, but you got to make the opposition work, and the Cardinals did that.
Tyler O'Neill hit by a pitch, scored a run in the first and fly to right. Goldschmidt, the runner at second base. Now 2 outs. And a breaking pitch is tapped foul off the plate. Out to deep left, and goodbye. Tyler O'Neill, 2-run homer. He hung it, and all of a sudden Tyler O'Neill jumped on it. 2-run shot, and the Cardinals have an 11-3 lead.
See how lightning fast these hands are right here from O'Neill. Recognizes the pitch, sees it up absolutely right, hanging breaking ball, Dan. But the recognition, the eyes get huge for Tyler O'Neill, a guy that came into spring training, knew there was an opportunity to start in left field day in and day out. The bat looked good in spring. Great to see it translate early on.
Little tapper hit to Bedrosian over to Votto, and there's the out. Cardinals adding to their lead. Another big inning. Opening day, 11-3. 11-3 Cardinals. And now it's time for our Kia player profile. Brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Visit Kia.com. And Yachty moving up that list with the most seasons played in Cardinals history. Stan the man, then Yachty or Molina. Stan 22. And Yachty began in 2004 and still going here in 2021. It's a who's who on that list, and you've got two on that list that are still playing today. Yachty or Molina, Adam Wainwright. And we'll see Wainwright pitch Saturday, and we'll have that game for you here on Bally Sports against Tyler Mahle. It's a 3-10 first pitch. It's Suarez, Moustakas, and Senzel. Home half of the fourth. Two-one pitch. Backs up inside. Suarez struck out back in the first inning.
Yeah, these are the kind of games, too. Your club gives you a cushion, right? Got 11 runs. Jack Flaherty, you have a game plan. You know how you want to attack every hitter. Got to pound the zone and go right after him, though.
Hit the opposite way. Williams back, and it's gone. An opposite field home run for Suarez.
Three of the four runs now for the Reds via the long ball. We talked about earlier the fact that they're feast or famine when it comes to it. This is a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, down and away, good pitch, and solo shots aren't going to kill you. I mean, that's the thing for Jack Flaherty. You keep pounding right here. You got a 7-run lead. You go right after these guys.
And that's in the dirt. This is Mike Moustakas. Fly to left his first time up. One ball and one strike. Shift on the right side of the infield. I would think it's a premium put on the Cardinal pitchers to be reminded time and again, absolutely throw strikes. With the defense that you have, Arenado, DeYoung, Edman, Goldschmidt, Gold Glover in left, and Tyler O'Neill. Carlson's fine. You got Yachty behind the plate. William, I mean, it's a premium on throwing strikes.
Yeah, well, it's huge, and just to further that, quality strikes, right? Down in the zone, utilize the defense, get some balls on the ground for multiple reasons. One, because you have the defense that you're talking about. And two, it's going to be a long season. After you haven't thrown a ton of innings in the last year, if you can steal outs, if you can get deeper into ball games quickly by utilizing that defense and not having to worry about trying to strike out the world, it's just going to pay dividends at the back end of the season.
2-2 the count. And the next two, Moustakas, ground ball hit to the right side. in a step or two. Tommy Edman for the out. Nick Senzel with 1 out, nobody on. Struck out back in the second. Flaherty has struck out 4 today. He's hit a man and no walks. Want to see that. Well, Tyler Naquin will pinch hit now for Nick Senzel, and you got to wonder on the diving play that Senzel made in center, which was a terrific diving catch and robbing Nolan Arenado. He was slow to get up. He must be banged up a little bit.
You could see the arm kind of roll under him a little bit. I wonder if that ends up being it, if it ends up being a wrist issue there.
Naquin, the only left-handed batter that they have on their bench. Boy, that would be a massive loss for the Reds if that's something that's serious.
Yeah, it would be for sure. And the hope is that it's not for Senzel. I mean, Senzel's a guy that they look at as, I mean, he is part of their future. He's in his third full season here. Bad year last year, looking to bounce back off of it.
Goes down to get it, and Goldschmidt is there to make the play. So after the home run, pair of groundouts, and Jonathan India will be the batter. He was called out on strikes back in inning number 2.
You just talked about using your defense right there. You got a couple of the best on the 2 corners. Go for it. That ball is scorched right there to Paul Goldschmidt. He's just so calm over there. Great hands.
India fouls it back. It was one of the big stories in spring for the Reds. For the Cardinals, you got Arenado, you got Goldie, you got Gold Glovers all around the infield. And it's 0-2. Last season, the Reds broke a string of 6 straight losing seasons, made it to postseason play, then swept by the Atlanta Braves. Really a microcosm of how their regular season went. They pitched well in that series, did not score a run.
Yeah, the Braves put it on them there, and there were 2 tight ball games.
Yes. The slider, check swing, did not go. Tony Randazzo, our first base umpire. They had the highest payroll they've ever had in franchise history last year, right around $150 million. The 2-2 pitch. And a base hit. Jonathan India. And he's got his first major league hit. It's a double against Jack Flaherty on opening day of 2021.
Well, this is one that Jonathan India is going to be asked about the rest of his life. His first major league hit. Who was it off of? What was the pitch? What was it? It was the double off of Jack Flaherty here in the 4th.
Tucker Barnhart hit by a pitch and scored. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Yanked foul. India, the runner at second base, and the 1-1. Just missed on the bottom of the zone. You know, David Bell's got an interesting decision here where you're an opening day, you're down 11-4, and your pitcher, who will clean up the last inning, is on deck. Do you want to go to your bullpen again? Wouldn't think so, but you never know. If you got a chance to get back in the game, Aquino would be the guy with his power. So you would pinch hit if his spot comes up. If not, Bedrosian goes back out there and probably gives you another inning.
Yeah, these are the ones where if you have any chance to put up some numbers, I think that you probably go to your pinch hitter. Your bullpen's going to be fresh right now.
Sal Romano is getting loose for the Reds in their bullpen, and the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Flaherty looking for strikeout number 5. Instead, a check on India. On their bench, Naquin, who's come into this game, Blandino, Farmer, Stevenson, and Aquino. 5-man bench. Hit the other way, and there's Tyler O'Neill. Home run hit by Suarez, his first of the year. Coming up for the Cardinals, Molina, Carlson, Williams. 14th, when the Cardinals host the Nationals, take home an adult puffy vest, courtesy of Bayer. Add to your Cardinals fashion with this must-have promo. Get your tickets, cardinals.com/promotions. 7-8-9 for the Cardinals, and the new pitcher is Sal Romano.
Well, you know what you're going to get with Sal Romano. Fastball, slider. Fastball sits in the mid-90s. Love to see the Cardinals continue to be aggressive, jump on anything in the strike zone. It was always the joke, save them for tomorrow. Forget that. Jump on everybody.
Dylan Carlson on base twice today. 3-run homer in the first, walked in the third. Mentioned that Tyler Naquin took over in center field for Nick Senzel. And the new catcher is Stevenson. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that he goes in the 9 position in their lineup. The pitcher going in the 8 spot as Barnhart made the final out in the 4th. Here's a 1-1. Castillo, the starter for the Reds. 3 1/3, 10 runs, 8 earned on 7 hits, no strikeouts. He walked 2. Bedrosian, 2/3 of an inning, 1 run, gave up a home run to O'Neill. Castillo, home run to Carlson. But a chilly day in Cincy. The 1-2 pitch. So Dylan Carlson in center field, and the Cardinals are without Kim, who's going to probably get 2, maybe 3 starts at the alternate site or down in Florida. And then you have Miles Michaelis. Probably don't see him until May, and that might be the same case with Harrison Bader too. So Dylan Carlson in center field. A fly ball lifted out to shallow left, and it drops foul.
Well, Dylan Carlson, I mean, he's not a stranger to center field. He might not move as well as Harrison Bader, because we know what Harrison can do at center field. Harrison's a Gold Glove caliber center fielder, but Dylan Carlson's a natural athlete, and the first step, all that stuff's going to get better and better for him. But he moves fairly well, and the bat plays, so it opens up some opportunity in right field. Opportunity was a word that we used a lot in spring training, wasn't it? I mean, that entire outfield mix of who's going to grab the jobs. Tyler O'Neill grabbed his. You knew that Dylan Carlson was going to be a part of the mix. You expected it to be in right, but He's going to be man in center field for a while, and the hope is that it's always a tough decision of who you're plugging in.
2-2, tails back in, and a strikeout.
Well, Dylan doesn't love it. I mean, it's a very close one. Might have missed on the inner half, but a nice pitch there by Sal Romano, because you know with Dylan Carlson, he already showed you his power of pulling the home run off the foul pole. If you're going to go in, you better stay in there. You better not miss over the plate.
Justin Williams 0 for 2. A couple of ground outs. And ball 1. Must be a thrill for Justin Williams, not only to make this team, but to be the starting right fielder on opening day.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of emotions coming into this one when he found out, first of all, when he found out he was going to be on the team. And then you find out not only you on the team, but you're going to be starting in right field and be batting, you know, here in the lineup, batting 8th. It's cool. It's cool moments, and hopefully a lot more great moments here for Justin Williams. The organization talked about the athleticism and just letting him get to it.
Couple of hops hit to India. Michael Gersh, the Cardinals GM, was telling me that yesterday the Cardinals worked out back-to-back days in Cincinnati, but on both days some of the young players were FaceTiming with family and loved ones as if to say, look, I'm here. Made it to the major leagues.
That's
Take
so
a look,
cool.
showing the ballpark. And he said that's one of the best parts of the job, when you see that and dreams realized, and that's what you have on opening day.
Yeah, that was one of the things that, while all of the debuts that happened last year, it's always memorable, but you miss that aspect of it, and a lot of the players miss that, of having family being at their debuts and friends being at their debuts, and hopefully these are all moments that can kind of happen again this year. Obviously, it won't be the same, won't be your major league debut, but get to share it with your loved ones.
Update on Senzel, left shoulder injury. That's never good when you hear that. And a strike at the knees for Flaherty. Jack Flaherty had a key at bat in this game. Fought off a couple of pitches. Eventually, after a long at bat, drew a walk in the 4th. That was a leadoff walk, and the Cardinals would add on at that point to their lead. So the RBI base hit by Goldschmidt. Tommy Edman had an infield hit that inning. Tyler O'Neill capped it off with a 2-run homer. Outside. So again, he has seen some of the, well, he's seen more pitches than just about anybody in this game.
Jack's not messing around up there.
The 3-2 pitch to Flaherty. And he draws his 2nd walk in this game. Cardinals have received 3 walks in the game, and the first issued by Romano.
So these are the types of things, the at-bats like Jack Flaherty is putting together, and a lot of the at-bats we've seen from the Cardinals so far today. Again, Luis Castillo, who's got electric stuff, didn't strike out anybody in his 3 1/3 innings of work. That's what Mike Schilt, that's what Jeff Albert likes to see, these relentless at-bats.
Staying put, Flaherty.
We were talking about also getting into the bullpen of the Reds, and you don't necessarily expect your opening day starter to give you 8 or 9 nowadays, but you like him to get deeper. Only 3 1/3 here. You got a chance to affect what this entire series looks like in this ball game if you keep getting to these guys.
And a ground ball. India flips out of the glove, and the force play at second. Bottom of 5 rolls in. When we come back, it's opening day on Bally Sports.
completed as we head to the bottom of the fifth in Cincinnati. Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt were good friends long before the trade that brought Nolan to the Cardinals organization. Their friendship actually goes back a number of years. They played rookie ball together. They were teammates on a couple of all-star teams as well as teammates on a Team USA. Arenado told me he always admired Paul for the way he plays the game. He says they are so similar in the way they approach baseball and as people. But Arenado told me jokingly, I call him the angel and I'm the devil. He's too nice. I'm kind of too real. I say the things he won't say, but I know he's thinking the same things. Danny, a couple of good guys at the corners.
Absolutely. Two of the best players in the game, two great defenders. I mean, you think about just a few years ago, you would have said to a Cardinal fan, by the way, you're going to have Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado on the same infield.
Give me season tickets.
Yeah, right. And here they are. It's going to be fun to watch number 28 day in and day out.
Yeah, well, just like you, right? I think that a lot of Cardinal fans that are watching right now remember hearing about the rumor of the trade and then feeling like there was momentum, and then to actually land the player, it's a good feeling. I remember that with Goldie when he came over, and just to know that you have these two guys on the corners for the foreseeable future, it's beautiful.
Stevenson leads it off, his first plate appearance of the season. Then we'll see Winker and Castellanos. Pitch count at 70 for Flaherty. And we're in the bottom of the fifth. I'm sure David Bell manages this game with a very heavy heart. His brother, a Cincinnati native, and the Twins bench coach Mike Bell died at the age of 46. Kidney cancer. Third generation major leaguer. Bell, the grandson of Gus Bell, and Buddy Bell is still a Reds VP and senior advisor. The 2-0 to center. Dylan Carlson makes the catch. Also, we pass along sad news from the Cardinal family on the passing of the Zamboni. Kenny Reitz passed away, and he will be remembered as a all-star in 1980, great defensive player and an all-around terrific man. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Reitz family.
Oh, absolutely. Ken Reitz would be somebody on a day like today, he would text us during a broadcast, and always had encouraging and kind words for everybody that's out there. So again, thoughts and prayers to Ken and his family and the Cardinal family.
Jesse Winker doubled and scored on a wild pitch back in the first and struck out looking in the third. Jack Flaherty has not walked a man. He has struck out 4. Lights are on at the Great American Ballpark. Snow earlier this morning. A very cold day.
Well, somebody forgot to tell the Cardinals bats about the cold day.
Good pitch.
Something different happens. You get out of Florida. The regular season is there. I remember these opening days. There's so much anticipation for a year, but I can't imagine what the feelings are after having last year, what that was like.
A big swing and a miss. Remember last year, Winker would take that kind of cut and fall to his knees. So off balance at times.
Well, the funny thing is, too, he's such a good off-speed hitter.
Exactly. The 2-2 pitch. So while Flaherty has not walked anybody, he himself has walked twice. First time a Cardinal pitcher has done that in a game since 2016. Michael Wacha did that. Michael is now with the Tampa Bay Rays organization. That missed in, and there's your first walk issued by Flaherty. Castellanos, 2-run homer, hit back in the third, and also was robbed by Justin Williams in right. 1 for 2. See the shift there for the Cardinals. Ray Golden of the Cardinals back in 1911 had 3 walks on opening day. So that doesn't happen very often. Mentioned earlier how Castellanos struggled against the Cardinals last season to the tune of a 3 for 35. That's what he hit against St. Louis. Had 1 extra base hit last year. 9 strikeouts. And that was the worst average by one NL player against one NL team in all of last season.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier too just the overall struggles, the historically bad year offensively for the Reds, 212 average as a team. Well, they hit 185 against the Cardinals, so the Cardinals had a lot to do with that.
It's a good slider there by Flaherty, that late movement. What have you thought of him today?
Look, I thought that Jack has been good. It's a cold day. It's a tough day to be able to kind of repeat your delivery, but I think that he's done a good job of just attacking overall. And it's hard to be like as sharp as possible, but I think he's done a really nice job.
He would love to get a ball on the ground here and maybe turn 2. It's that same pitch. 2 strikes. That's the pitch you can get him to reach and roll over.
Yep. Just does a good job here of just staying on top of this thing. This pitch starts on the outer third, ends away.
Eleven sliders thrown, 6 missed, 3 ground ball outs on 13 in play, and that's hung and hit down the left field line. Over to dig it out, Tyler O'Neill. And it'll be runners at second and third after the double by Nicholas Castellanos.
You know, after the 2 sliders that he threw prior to that pitch, you know, Jack's kind of kicking himself on that one by letting it hang. You see the just cement mixer, the slider. When you see a slider like that, you can see a big circle on that pitch. You know he gets around it, doesn't have the tight spin. Castellanos, who's seeing the ball well, drove one to right that Justin Williams made a good play on early in this ball game, had the home run on a fastball in earlier, now the double.
Mike Maddox, the claw applied to the shoulder of Flaherty, and it looks like Tyler Webb will get up and start throwing in the Cardinals bullpen. Mike Maddox, born in Dayton, Ohio, and he was originally selected by the Reds, 36th round of the 1979 draft. Did not sign and went to Texas El Paso, pitching coach of the Cardinals.
Mike Maddox had himself a pretty nice career as a player and certainly as a coach, one of the more respected pitching coaches in the game of baseball.
What do you think it's going to be like for teams to get through 162 after, you know, so few innings a year ago?
I think that you're going to have to use depth, and that's one thing that the Cardinals have a lot of. They got a lot of guys that can eat up different innings for you. I think you'll utilize your alternate site a bit. You'll utilize the minor leagues, but you're going to have to get creative with guys.
And a fastball and a strike. So Flaherty right now is at 4 1/3 innings. And that's already the deepest any starter in the Central Division has gone today. Woodruff of Milwaukee went 4 innings, 78 pitches. Chad Kuhl of Pittsburgh, 63 pitches, was lifted after 3. Kyle Hendricks, 63 pitches. That's strike 2. And then in this ball game, Castillo, 3 1/3, 8 hits, 8 earned, 10 total runs given up. So guys are going deep today.
Surprising. It is a little surprising to see a lot of these pitchers being out of games early. I wouldn't see the Cardinals being that cautious. You mentioned some of these pitch counts, 60, and other factors obviously go into that, because if you're running into some troubles, then you're going to get a guy out of there. But I think you play each pitcher kind of case by case of how you handle them. You're viewing all of the high pressure innings, the high pressure pitches that guys are throwing, instead of just a blanket idea of saying, well, 75 pitches, 80 pitches, that's my limit. No, watch. Like, you watch the games, you see how they are. You do have to map things out throughout the entire season. But Jack Flaherty, he trains and he prepares to throw 200 innings. I mean, that's his hope.
Next to Votto. Kept in front by Molina. So runners at second and third. Joey Votto today has popped out to Nolan Arenado and also flied out to Williams and Wright. One ball and 2 strikes. Kept in front again by Molina. 2-2. I would imagine if they could draw it up, they'd love to get Flaherty through this inning, and then that would probably be it.
I would say absolutely get him through this one. You think that Webb is likely up in the bullpen for Moustakas if we get there. But get through 5 in this one. Still got to bear down and make a few pitches. This is where the concentration comes in.
2-2. Center field and a base hit. Run will score. They'll hold up the next runner at third, and a base hit RBI for Joey Votto.
Wanted the fastball up in the zone, got the fastball up in the zone, but Joey Votto just does a good job of staying right on top of it.
And with 1 out, runners at the corners for Suarez. One swing of the bat, we've got a game. And a 2-run homer back in the 4th, rather a solo home run back in the 4th, and struck out in the 1st. And a fastball at the knees for a strike.
Well, you said it early in the game and talked about how cliche it was, but in this ballpark, you're right. I mean, there is no lead that's safe. That's why you continue to pile on whenever you get the opportunity to do so. And for Jack here, I mean, this is one slider down and away that maybe reaches out and gets a double play.
1 ball and 1 strike. %38% of Suarez's hits last year, home runs, highest percentage in all of baseball. So this is a dangerous spot in this game. The 1-1. Most pitches thrown by Jack Flaherty last year was 102 in a start. His second to last start against the Pirates. And that's when, of course, the shutdown happened. The Cardinals slowly then built him back up. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. And to your point, Webb is getting loose in the pen. Cardinals carrying 3 lefties in their bullpen. And a left-handed batter and Moustakas on deck. Three balls and 1 strike. He walked him. 2 walks in the game. Both have been in this inning. And they're all loaded up for Moustakas, and that's going to be it. Flaherty can't get through 5. 11-5 our score. And the probables for Saturday and some career numbers there for Adam Wainwright and Tyler Mahle. And we'll come your way pregame show 2:30 Saturday on Bally Sports Midwest. Chevy called to the pen, and it takes us to Tyler Webb. His numbers a season ago, 21 2/3 and an ERA just over 2. Very serviceable and does a nice job for the Cardinals out of their pen.
It really does. Tyler Webb has just been one of those go-to guys. He is incredibly hard to square up. You look at just contact rates and specifically hard contact rates. You don't get very many off the bat or off of Tyler Webb. just hides the ball really well.
Moustakas, 4 opening day home runs in his career. That's the second most among active players, actually tied with Yadier Molina. What a chance here with the bases loaded. First pitch to him. Center field. And the catch made by Carlson. Runner tags. And the throw to the plate is cut off by Goldschmidt. Run scores. Cuts into the Cardinal lead 11-5. Aquino will pinch hit for Naquin. So 2 position players left on the bench for the Reds.
Yeah, they're running through him right now. You remember when Aquino came up a couple of years ago, he lit the world on fire. Like, he just looked like the next thing. Struggled to find consistency last year with Cincinnati. Batted .170, but always a power threat. This is a guy you leave something up, out, over, especially on the inner half. He'll make you pay for it.
Vicious cut there. He was the fastest to 15 home runs to start a career.
It was all early, and then it seemed like the league made some adjustments. And then Aristides wasn't able to do so.
Took some off it, way out in front. And the 1-2 pitch by Webb. Fastball taken high.
So Webb changes eye levels there. He's got a couple of different options. Can do that change up, drop it off the table, or throw that breaking ball under again.
The 2-2 pitch. Again upstairs. Runners off with this next pitch and 2 down. Flaherty lifted in this game. 4 1/3. 6 hits, 4 strikeouts, couple of walks. As the snow begins to fall again in Cincinnati, it looks like. Ryan Helsley throwing in the Cardinal pen. 3-2 pitch. And Aquino hits a high fly ball. Left side. And taken there by Nolan Arenado. So Tyler Webb gets the final 2 outs. We head to the 6th opening day. It's 11-6. 6 in favor of the Cardinals. Flaherty 4 1/3. Arenado is 2 for 3 in his St. Louis debut. Couple of singles. Run batted in. Dylan Carlson, a 3-run homer back in the first. Aquino staying in the ball game and takes over in center. Romano still pitching, and it's Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Young. Paul Goldschmidt has been on base 3 times.
The Reds have been trying to stay away from Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie's just doing a really good job of driving the ball that way, just staying on it, not pulling off of things. Saw that a little bit early on in 2019. He kind of got pull happy.
Hit sharply to second. Jonathan India makes the play. Nolan Arenado back in the first, his first Cardinal hit. It's an infield hit. Eventually came around to score. And then in the second, fought this off. The soft liner made its way into center field. Picked up an RBI. And then was robbed by Nick Senzel in the fourth. On a play that Senzel was diving for it, actually had to leave the game with a shoulder injury. The Flurries falling in Cincinnati.
Opening day, Dan. Isn't it beautiful?
These guys come from Florida and Arizona, and all of a sudden it's snowing.
Still feels good, though, because these ones count.
Yep. 2020 didn't see a lot of Sal Romano. Most of his time spent at the alternate site of the Reds. A couple appearances for Cincinnati. Pitched an inning and a third. That was it. And the 1-1 pitch. And speaking of shoulder injuries, that's what really curtailed some of the numbers a year ago for Nolan Arenado, and he said that is not a problem whatsoever in 2021.
Doesn't appear to be. Free, easy, the high finish that he wasn't able to get to last year.
And Arenado is called out on strikes. Romano is second strikeout, just the third strikeout in the Cardinal lineup today.
I'm not sure Sal Romano could have walked up and placed this any better. Might have been a little bit down, might have been a little bit off, but home plate umpire Jim Reynolds likes it.
Here's DeYoung. Infield hit, RBI, run scored in the first, grounded into a double play in the second, and struck out swinging back in the fourth. The 0-1. And DeYoung hits a fly ball out to Aquino in center. Puts it away for the out. Midway through 6, 11-6 St. Louis.
Well, you know that Jack Flaherty might end up being a little disappointed he couldn't get through the 5th inning of this ball game, but we did see some good stuff out of Jack. The 4 punch outs, had some nasty sliders, tying some people up with some heaters in, and just a day where you know he'd like to get deeper, but ended up getting some good work in. The Cardinals gave him some runs, gave him a cushion. That last inning, I know he's going to go back and look and say a couple of walks in that inning. Wish he'd have attacked a little bit more, but Jack Flaherty 4 1/3 gave up 6 in this ball game, and now it's in the hands of the bullpen.
Season debut and this opening day, Ryan Helsley, third pitcher used by the Cardinals, as Webb got the final 2 outs in the 5th. Our Chevy called to the pen, Ryan Helsley. So in the Cardinal bullpen, from the right side, Jordan Hicks, Giovanni Gallegos, Helsley, Woodford, Reyes. Left side, Miller, Webb, Cabrera. And he gets Jonathan India to start this inning. First pitch fouled away. India, first major league hit, was a double last time up down the left field line back in the 4th.
Yeah, he's going to have himself a good name when he's asked about his first big league hit off of Jack Flaherty. I'm sure a special moment for him. They threw the ball in. That thing's going to be on a mantle somewhere.
And here comes an 0-1 pitch by the hard throwing Ryan Helsley. Line for a base hit into left center. India, the hard turner on first base, and he'll stop there. The 2021 Cardinals Hall of Fame ballot presented by Edward Jones is live now through April 17th. Cast your vote for your top deserving player. Another great field of candidates. Visit cardinals.com/HOF. So Blandino now will hit for Romano. They've got Kyle Farmer left on their bench. Alex Blandino. Shift on the left side of the infield. And strike 1.
Well, this Cardinals bullpen, there are a lot of things you look at and you like the look of. This bullpen is one of them for sure. Should be a huge strength of the Cardinals. Multiple guys down there that can give you multiple innings. Got some high octane swing and miss stuff, and certainly Ryan Helsley has a lot of that. The lone surprise, if you will, and it's not a surprise because he didn't earn the spot, but just having him there to eat up some innings is Jake Woodford made this ball club. Cody Whitley also had a really nice spring, could have been there, but Jake Woodford definitely deserving of the spot as well.
Carson Fulmer is getting loose in the Reds bullpen. 4 1/3 by Flaherty, 2/3 of an inning by Webb, and now Helsley. And a called third strike. So the first strikeout of the season for Ryan Helsley. Last year, his first 7 appearances gave up 7 earned in 7 1/3. But then in his last 5 outings, that's when he got comfortable. Faced 21 hitters, no hits, no runs. That's more indicative of the guy that we've seen in the past.
Well, and that's going to be the key to it, is just the consistent feel for his off speed. We know that his fastball is good, but it's fairly straight. I mean, 96 to 98. It's that wrinkle that he's able to throw in for strikes that's going to be the difference.
Here's Stevenson. And maybe what you're talking about is getting a finer definition of that off-speed pitch, or maybe coming up with another pitch.
Yeah, he's got 2 of them that he mixes in. He's got the slider and like the tighter cutter slider and the slower curveball, but it's just the consistency of it and getting the feel for it.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Stevenson. 2 balls and no strikes. And it's 2-1.
That's that tighter slider right there from Helsley. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to drop off the table. It's just got to be a difference in speed. And that one about 9 or 10 miles an hour less than the fastball.
2-1 pitch. Missed down at 97 from Helsley.
Seen those calls kind of go 2 different ways today on the fastball down. But more of the ones that have been called have been more middle. This one in.
The 3-1 pitch by Helsley. Fastball at 96. Stevenson entered the ball game back in the 5th. So left on their bench, Kyle Farmer. And the only position player available for David Bell. Helsley would love the ground ball or a strikeout here. The 3-2 pitch. Lined into right and a base hit. Runners at first and second. We head back to the top of the lineup. And now a quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Lots of new little firsts to keep up with means less time for banking. Good thing you can check your balance with a text and get back to all of life's little firsts with Great Southern Text Banking.
They start to stretch again in the Cardinals bullpen. Jesse Winker, top of the lineup, has scored a couple of runs, scored on a wild pitch after he doubled back in the 1st. Struck out looking in the 3rd, walked and scored in the 5th.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those games where you'd love to be able to give somebody a little breathing room to get into it. I know it's a 5-run ball game, but things can change here quickly in this ballpark. You can't let a game like this slip away, so it wouldn't be shocking to see, Mike Schilt, Mike Maddox be aggressive with their bullpen as we see Genesis Cabrera get up and start throwing.
Got to figure he's getting loose for Joey Votto. Runners at first and second, but we're a couple of spots away from Votto. Get the feeling with these two teams meeting so much, your lefties really are vital for the Cardinals because of Joey Votto, Winker, Moustakas, guys that could do some damage from the left side.
Well, and the luxury that the Cardinals have from the left side also is they have good reverse splits. So, I mean, the 3 batter minimum is still a thing.
That's the one rule. I don't know if you're with me on this. I was fine with 7-inning doubleheaders. I think they were great, especially with what we did with COVID last year and getting through games and health and safety. Starting a runner at second, extra innings, fine. 3 batter minimum. You know, part of the idea was to speed up the game, and games took 3 hours and 7 minutes last year and actually were 2 minutes longer.
Yeah.
So it didn't help, and it really takes out of the strategy for managers in these games. I mean, there's strategy to keeping that guy in too. I understand that, but you're limited. Line to right and a base hit. They'll hold the runner at third, and the bases are loaded for the second time, and the heart of this lineup coming up for the Reds. Two-hit day for Winker, on base for the 3rd time, and now Castellanos was robbed by Justin Williams first time up. 2-run homer in the 3rd, and a double and run scored back in the 5th. Bases loaded. Reds had the bases loaded last inning. Ball 1.
I know we've seen Castellanos drive the ball to the right side already today. I'm staying away, though, in this spot. I mean, you have to. You saw the pull power that he's got on the fastball in. You can throw him a fastball. You could throw it for a strike, certainly, but you got to stay away from him.
Three singles in the inning. The 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes.
So as a hitter in a spot like this, you've seen Ryan Helsley with the off speed and the inability to throw it for a strike. Really, you kind of eliminate that pitch and you say, okay, well, if you throw one for a strike, great, I'll take that, and kind of sit dead red on the fastball. Going to be important to see if Helsley here can make an adjustment.
2-0 the count. And time called by Castellanos.
Crowd starting to feel it a little bit. I thought the Cardinals did a good job early on. The crowd was quiet. They put up the 6 spot in the 1st inning. Cardinals dropped 4 on them in the 4th inning. But the crowd is slowly getting back into this one at Great American Ballpark. Got a lot of people that have been waiting to be at a ball game, waiting for something to cheer for. And Ryan Helsley's trying to quiet this crowd.
It's only the 4th time in Helsley's career that he's faced the bases loaded. So not really a situation he's accustomed to. 2 balls and no strikes. Line drive. Caught by O'Neill. His throw will come into second, and it'll turn into a double play. They run themselves right out of the inning. It's a double play, and they run right out of the inning. O'Neill was there. Helsley gets out of it, and no damage done. Inexcusable. 11-6. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals and not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. This is our Honda home run inning. $1,000 donation will be made to the Make-A-Wish Foundation by your Gateway Honda dealers if a Cardinal hits a home run this inning.
Dan, you ever feel like you were just given a gift?
Yeah, and that was it.
My goodness.
Boy, that can't happen. As Tyler O'Neill hits it left side. Moustakas was playing in, 1 pitch and 1 out.
What a momentum shifter. We're just talking about the ballpark. Great American Ballpark was getting loud. The pressure was on Ryan Helsley to execute a pitch. He executes, gets the fly out, and Stevenson just napping. I don't know what he was thinking over there at second base, but a heads-up play by Tyler O'Neill.
Well, the new pitcher in is Carson Fulmer. So the 4th pitcher used by the Reds today. After 2 scoreless from Romano. Castillo, their starter, lasted 3 1/3. Well, that could be your ball game right there. That was a hard hit ball, and I'm assuming they're thinking that's in the gap and let's go to the races, and instead it turns into a inning-ending double play and all the momentum is out.
Well, that's the little details, right, of knowing exactly where your outfielders are, having a good beat on it, getting the reads. That's something that I know that we talked a lot about with a couple of different guys. Another look at it here as Stevenson, I don't know, he might have just thought it was 2 outs. So I don't know what he was doing right there.
Wow.
I mean,
can't happen.
Thank you.
Popped up, foul territory. Votto is there for the catch. Yadi 0 for 4 today.
But those are the details as a manager that will drive you up a wall. We talk a lot about the Cardinals, and Goldschmidt is a great example of this. The big fundy himself. Fundamentals are key. Those mistakes can't happen.
Here's Dylan Carlson, 3-run homer back in the 1st inning, walked in the 3rd, and called out on strikes against Romano in the 5th. So 1 for 2 today. And the first pitch taken for a strike. Reds are carrying 3 lefties in Amir Garrett, Doolittle, and Perez. One and one. Two balls and a strike. Carson Fulmer was claimed off of waivers from the Pirates. He's a former first-round pick. Outside. Reds have as many hits as the Cardinals. More total bases, but 2 errors, very costly, led to an extension of 1 inning that led to a 3-run homer. 8 strikeouts in this game combined. 3-2 pitch. Pulled the string and a strikeout of Carlson. It's opening day. Baseball is back. It's great to see, and let's stretch the Great American Ballpark. Sports Midwest, brought to you by BJC, the world's best medicine made better. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Moving to the home half of the 7th, opening day of the 2021 season. 9 hits aside, the Cardinals have the lead, and let's check in with Erica.
Thanks very much, Dan. The Cardinals will hopeful to secure enough of that single-shot vaccine once they arrived in Cincinnati earlier this week. Mike Schilt did confirm yesterday that the team met that 85% threshold among the traveling party so that they can loosen some of those restrictions, but not until about 2 weeks' time. So what are some of those restrictions that they're hoping to loosen up in the next couple of weeks? Well, things like playing cards on the charter flight. They can gather without masks in the hotel rooms. They can also carpool to the ballpark with each other. So a lot of these things might be changing amongst the team, not necessarily changing for fans that are able to be at the ballpark. But related news on the COVID front, a tough start to the season for the Nationals and the Mets. Their game was postponed today. The Nationals do have 3, likely 4 positive tests. That is according to General Manager Mike Rizzo. The Nationals expected to be in town during the Cardinals' first homestand. Dan?
Gotta wonder if that's going to have an effect on that roster when they get to St. Louis. And remember, they played the Nationals. The Cardinals did at the tail end of spring training. Something to keep in mind. All right, Erica, thank you. We're in the bottom of the 7th. BJC Healthcare difference makers and a couple of home runs hit on this opening day by St. Louis. Back in the first inning, the Cardinals picked up 6 runs on 4 hits. And 3 coming on 1 swing of the bat. Dylan Carlson off the foul pole and right. And then in the 4th inning, Tyler O'Neill hanging breaking ball and a 2-run shot for St. Louis. That was in the 4th. The BJC Healthcare difference makers.
Dan, one of the biggest storylines for the Cardinals this year is what are they going to get out of the outfield? Who's going to step up? Well, we've seen a couple of them step up so far today. Dylan Carlson, Tyler O'Neill getting the job done. And now it's time for Genesis Cabrera to get the job done.
Cardinals with 3 lefties out of their pen, and they're going to use 2 already. Saw Tyler Webb went 2/3 of an inning, cleaned up an inning for Jack Flaherty, and then a tightrope of sorts for Ryan Helsley. And that was in the 6th. At bases loaded, 1 out, and Castellanos lining into an inning-ending double play. Both teams have turned to double play today. DeYoung hit into a double play back in the 2nd inning, and then that double play in the bottom of the 6th to end the threat for Cincinnati. So Genesis Cabrera into the ball game. He'll face Joey Votto, then you have Suarez, and then Moustakas. This is where the Reds lineup can be tough with a 3-batter minimum. How they stack it, because you have a lefty Winker, then Castellano, lefty Votto, then Suarez, then a lefty again in Moustakas.
It's when it helps to have stuff like Cabrera has, where you got the wipeout breaking ball, you've got upper 90s fastball. He's an uncomfortable at bat. Either side you're in. A look at the numbers from last year. Very good season for Genesis Cabrera.
This guy's got nasty stuff, man.
You ain't lying.
Votto pops it up left side. Arenado coming over with Yadi, and Yadi's got it. And he makes the catch. That's 17 Gold Gloves, by the way, combined between Molina and Arenado.
I was going to say, in that situation, generally you defer to the Platinum Glover, but, you know.
Pick your choice. You know, both have a bunch.
I just know this. Anything that finds itself in that area between those two gentlemen, it's going to get caught. Feel pretty good about that.
Last year, Cabrera, 38% whiff rate on fastballs, 5th best in all of baseball. They talk about how he hides the ball pretty well, Brad, and so with a fastball that's mid to high 90s, it gets on you in a hurry.
Yeah, and he's got that quick arm too. So you see just kind of it's body to the plate, body, and then the arm just shoots out.
Here's Eugenio Suarez, solo home run back in the 4th, walked in the 5th. That floats in there for a ball, a little high. Struck out his first time up. 2 balls and no strikes. We're in the 7th, 11-6 St. Louis. 3-0. Moustakas on deck. And he walked him. So 1-out walk, and the 3rd walk issued by the Cardinals today. Here's Moustakas, sac fly, RBI back in the 5th, grounded out to second, flied out to left. When you're up by 5, you do not want to see that. That's what can lead to the crooked innings.
Attack, attack, attack. Moustakas with that sac fly you mentioned too. He was a little upset. He had just missed that thing, he felt.
That's ball 1. So 5 straight balls thrown by Cabrera. On a cold day, if things play out the way that they'd like to play out with a 5-run lead, who do you think would get the call maybe in the 8th, 9th? Maybe it's a 2-inning appearance for Cabrera. Who knows?
The interesting part of it goes back to kind of a theme that we've had throughout this game, is they can get away quickly in this ballpark. So you do wonder too, if you have a lead with an off day tomorrow, do you want to go to Reyes and get him in a game? Do you want to go to Hicks and get him in a ball game, give him a day of rest? I would definitely think about that. Got a lead, not lock that thing down.
The 2-0 pitch, Cabrera to Mike Moustakas, fouled back. 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1. Fastball misses high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike. And he walked him. Back-to-back walks. And you're asking for trouble with a 5-run lead. Brings in Aquino, who pinch hit back in inning number 5 with 2 runners on. Popped out. He's 0 for 1. Stayed in the ball game in center. We talked about it. He has tremendous power. Changed his stance a couple of years ago. Was trying to catch on, get to the big leagues, and the way that he did it was by opening up his stance.
He's actually closed off a little bit from where he was when he first came into the league. I mean, before he looked as if he was standing you like he was about, going to address you.
Remember many years ago, Andres Galarraga, when he was with the Cardinals, Don Baylor was the hitting coach with St. Louis and opened him up. And then Don Baylor became the manager with the Rockies and brought him to Colorado. And the Big Cat found a new life, a new home, and another part of his career. He was awesome.
Slight adjustments, right? It's being around the right people that unlock something in you, and then you being able to do it. That's the hard part about, it doesn't matter if you're a hitter or a pitcher. You get a lot of information. You have to be able to filter it. You have to be able to figure out what works best for you. But there's always something. You can always get better.
Fouled back, 96.
Well, we've seen it now a couple of times. Saw it from Helsley, certainly. We've seen it from Genesis Cabrera, and we did see it from Jack Flaherty as well. Just the inefficiency of the off-speed pitches, and you do wonder when you're talking about the grip again, as we've talked about a couple of times during the broadcast, with the cold weather in the 30s, snow flurries. Might be tough to get a feel for some of these pitches.
Lifted in the air to shallow right field. Williams with the catch. Runners will stay put. And on number 2, Major League debut today for Jonathan India. Struck out looking in the second inning against Jack Flaherty, who went 4 1/3. Then doubled down the left field line for his first Major League hit. Then against Ryan Helsley, a leadoff base hit in the 6th.
I really like what we've seen out of India so far. Glove looks good as well. Made a nice diving stop in the first inning. It was on a base hit by Arenado, but kept the ball in the infield. Just aggressive. Like, he's going up there. He knows if he wants to be here and he wants to stay here, he's gonna have to swing it. He's been swinging anything in the strike zone.
Giovanni Gallegos, Cardinal right-hander, getting loose. 2 outs, 2 on, and strike 1. I don't care if it's with the Cardinals or the opposing team. I love seeing Major League debuts. You know, all the hard work that they put in, family and friends watching or maybe in attendance. As Jim Hayes reported that Jack Flaherty's mom has been going through some medical situations, and our understanding she was in attendance to watch this start for Jack. And the 1-1 pitch here by Cabrera. Fastball, couldn't catch up, and a fly ball to Williams. Under it and has it. Reds have stranded 7 in this game. Sends us to the 8th. And St. Louis on top 11-6. Great to be able to promote this and have fans back in the ballpark. All-inclusive tickets back for 2021. And they're on sale right now for April games. So you enjoy the game in style. You get all your food and drinks included. And a great view of the game as well. Get yours at cardinals.com/all-inclusive. Second inning for Fulmer, who enjoyed a 1-2-3 in the 7th. Justin Williams, and then Cabrera's spot, and Tommy Edman.
Would really love to see Justin Williams get something in the air. Get the ball up. He's got some big time power. That's one thing the Cardinals have been trying to unlock with him a little bit as well. He's got really fast hands, but he's got that top hand that comes through. We've seen 3 ground balls in this ball game hit to second base. Can he just keep the bat level? You know, keep it through the plane longer.
The fly ball out to center. Pretty well hit. Aquino going back to make the catch. Cardinals will have a pinch hitter. It'll be Matt Carpenter. Well, this will be the role for Carpenter, at least for the time being, pinch hitting. Had a rough spring with only a couple of hits. Now, he did get a pinch hit single run batted in the final spring training game for the Cardinals. Cardinals have talked about exit velocity, some of the positive things to look at, but not the results. And the bottom line, it's a results-driven business, so we'll see.
You know what I love the most about that hit, and certainly for Carpenter, I'm sure it felt good just to get one. I don't care if you're a veteran, you've been around, you need him to fall at some point. I loved how his teammates responded.
Yeah,
like, they were so happy for him. Like, they understand what he's getting through, and he's doing a good job of. He knows what his role is. He knows he's gonna have to earn at bats.
Nothing into the count.
Remember Matt Carpenter, you know, a couple of years ago, he talked about hitting with 2 strikes. He said, man, I like it. I like to be in that situation. I don't feel any pressure. Now, things have changed a little bit recently, last few years, but Matt Carpenter, when he's on, he fouls off a bunch of pitches. Not be able to do so here.
So for Fulmer, it's been 5 up, 5 down, and a couple of strikeouts along the way.
A very unsure swing right there by Matt Carpenter.
So 2 outs and Tommy Edman. Edman, a base hit back in the 4th. He's grounded out to second, fly to left, infield hit, scored on a wild pitch and grounded into a fielder's choice. One ball and one strike. The 1-1.
Dan, I know we've talked about having the fans in the stands. I can't wait until Busch Stadium opening day Thursday. You're going to miss those cardboard cutouts, though, aren't you?
I am not going to miss them one bit. I got to be honest. I think it was serviceable. I thought we did as well as we could. Cardboard cutouts, piping in the crowd, but nothing replaces the fan.
Do you think down the road, like our kids' are going to be watching videos from games and
I
go,
thought about it.
What
is going on here?
What are we seeing? It's a history lesson, that's for sure.
As Edmund just got a piece, I was watching the pregame show, and it really caught my attention. Like they were looking back at some of the great moments last year. Yachty's 2000th hit. Waino, the complete game against the Indians on his birthday. Dylan Carlson's first home run at Busch Stadium with cardboard cutouts. I mean, it was bizarre.
I know.
But that's what we had. As Edmund pops it fouling out of play. But again, I think it's what we had. It's what we had to get through. I mean, the oddest play maybe of the year is Harrison Bader hitting Fred Bird, and he's the only guy in the seats.
Just crushed his painting out there in Big Mac land.
That's 1 in a million he's going to do that. And Fred Bird had left that area, and it hits his painting. And a fly ball out to center. Aquino backing up to make the catch. Bottom of the 8th rolls in when we come back. Side of the ballpark in Cincinnati. Brad Thompson, Dan McLaughlin. We're in the studios of Bally Sports here in St. Louis. What looks to be a very cold day in Cincinnati. At flurries midway through this game.
That happens. You know, Cardinal fans will travel for it, though. They've been waiting to see their team for a long time show up at the Great American Ballpark. And, man, this year is going to be so much fun. There's going to be so much energy. All the cool moments that you talked about earlier, we're going to get an opportunity to celebrate them. See the Chevy call to the bullpen. Giovanni Gallegos in, one of Mike Schultz's most relied upon right-handers.
Well, the relievers today, Webb, Helsley, Cabrera, done a nice job. 2 2/3, 3 hits, couple of walks, no runs, and 42 pitches combined with that trio. And now it's Giovanni Gallegos. Now, this is another one of those guys in that closer by committee role, potentially could be that, is we've seen him in that role, and he's been very good.
Yeah, he has been good. And the thing that you love about Giovanni Gallegos is the wipeout slider that they can throw for chase and for strikes.
This is Blandino, who's a pinch hitter back in the 6th. Then we'll have Stevenson and the top of the lineup, Winker. You're still going to have to go through Castellanos, Votto, and Suarez before this one is potentially over. 11-6 our score. I misspoke. The pinch hitter now is Kyle Farmer. So they're done with the available position players off their bench.
Dan, I did just get a text. It was misspelled, but it's not his fault. He's got claws. Fred Bird did say he's still not happy about the painting. He's a little upset about that. The Harrison Bader home run off of it was a nice piece. He'd been working on that for innings.
It was his Bob Ross impersonation that day. He had a theme for all the games.
Sure did. Sure did. Fred's not going to have to make stuff up this year. He's going to have fans to entertain.
Three-two pitch.
If Joey Votto wouldn't have been back, it would have likely been Farmer starting at first base for the Reds, kind of a super utility guy. He was also going to be the shortstop if Eugenio Suarez didn't move over that way.
The 3-2 pitch. Remember, they had a prospect that they really liked, played at the tail end of last year. They also had Freddie Galvis, and they didn't bring him back. So it was either Suarez or Farmer, and they don't feel that there's depth in that side of things in terms of a shortstop. So they were kind of hamstrung in that regard.
Yeah, the shortstop, we're talking about Jose Garcia. He looks the part, certainly, but the bat just hasn't kind of come along yet. The consistency's not there. He needs a little bit more seasoning.
And the 3-2 pitch to Farmer. Fouled back. Remember, Gallegos was traded from the Yankees to St. Louis. A deal that included Luke Voit. And Voit starts this year on the injured list. He has a torn meniscus, and he was last year's home run champion. Yankees, by the way, losing in extra innings today to Toronto 3-2. Swing and a miss. Gallegos took something off it and a strikeout. It's a nasty pitch. Cutter, slider, curve, whatever you want to call it. It's nasty.
Yeah, well, he mixes up his breaking balls, right? And I think he calls them all his curve ball, but that one definitely has more vertical drop. The other pitch, has more of the horizontal, but nasty, especially after seeing 3 fastballs at 95. He throws that one out of the same slot. It just drops off the table.
Now Stevenson. Strike one. Fouled back. So 2 strikes on Stevenson. He entered the ball game back in the 5th. One of the reasons the Cardinals went to postseason play last year, if not the main reason, was their pitching, in particular their bullpen, and that seems to be the strength of their club. When you've got guys like Reyes, Hicks, Gallegos, Cabrera, and there'll be hiccups along the way, no doubt. It's a long season, but generally speaking, on paper, going into the season, that's a strength.
Yeah, it is for sure, and it's still a strength as we sit right now. And the Cardinals have a couple of guys that would have been members of the bullpen if, in fact, not for a couple of injuries, because Daniel Ponce de Leon is currently in the rotation, and as is John Gant. And both those guys, I mean, if everything was said and done, they might have just been in that pen in the first place. Speaks to the depth.
2-2 on the ground is short. DeYoung up with it and makes the play. Out number 2 here in the 8th. So with 2 outs, Jesse Winker doubled and scored in the first. It was on a wild pitch by Flaherty, who made the start today. Was called out on strikes in the third, walked and scored in the fifth, and a single to right in the sixth. Cardinals got 4 1/3 from Jack Flaherty. 6 runs on 6 hits, struck out 4, walked 2, gave up a home run to Suarez. Webb came in with 1 out in the fifth, the bases loaded, gave up no runs. That run that scored when he was on the mound, charged to Flaherty, went 2/3 of an inning. Helsley, a scoreless inning, came into the 6th. Cabrera, the 7th, scoreless, despite walking 2. And now it's Gallegos.
If everything stays the same in this ball game, Dan, this would be a game that I wouldn't mind seeing Jordan Hicks in. Come in, get an inning.
Yeah.
Got the
my
day off.
idea, I felt that they would bring him in. It wouldn't be a close game, and it's a 5-run lead here, but get him in as soon as you can if it presented itself, and let him just get 1 inning under his belt,
Yep.
non-save situation, and get back into the flow.
Yeah, here's the one thing that you know might happen, right? If Jordan Hicks gets into this ball game, so we saw a little bit of it in spring training. First of all, the juice is going to be flowing. He's going to be amped up. One thing that takes a little bit when you're coming back from Tommy John is being able to spot up and put the ball where you want to. Sometimes you're a little bit erratic when it comes to your command, but these are the types of games you'd love to just ease him into, because I think at the end of the year we're going to be looking at him as the closer of this ball club again. But it takes a little while to kind of ease in, and they're going to be really careful with how they deploy him too. We're not going to be seeing back-to-backs early on for Jordan Hicks. They're going to watch the high stress innings.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Winker. Yeah, the key will be going 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5, those kind of things, as closers have to do inside.
That's where it's nice to have multiple options down there that you can go to and you can feel comfortable with. Because I mean, I think even though he's healthy, I think you're also going to be very careful with how they deploy Alex Reyes also.
The 2-2 struck him out as Winker drops to a knee and throws his bat towards the dugout. Couple of strikeouts in the inning for Gallegos. 9th inning rolls in. When we come back, Goldschmidt, Arenado, DeYoung coming up. Back in Cincinnati, we're back in the studios here in St. Louis. Cold there. Hey, it's beautiful here in the studio, by the way. And it's our Budweiser plays of the game.
Yeah, it says it's a nice 71 on the wall over there. Feels pretty good. Hey, it's great to, first of all, just baseball back, right? Everything back in it. Love seeing Nolan Arenado in that jersey. Jack Flaherty towed the slab today to get this underway. And a lot of good things today for the Cardinals, specifically on the offensive side. You love to see it.
Sean Doolittle, or Chevy, called to the pen. Farmer, who pinch hit, stays in the game. He's in left. And so Doolittle will go in Winker's spot as he made the last out. And here's Paul Goldschmidt, 3 hits today, looking to be the 9th Cardinal since 1920 to have 4 hits on opening day. Last time it happened in this park, 11 years ago. Pujols went 4 for 5 with a couple of home runs.
I'm shocked.
And Goldie fouls it back. Paul also has scored 3 runs. One ball and 1 strike. And Goldschmidt rips it into left field, extra bases. It's a 4-hit day for Paul Goldschmidt. A leadoff double to start things here in the 9th inning.
Well, he's seeing the ball just fine. Fastball center cut by Sean Doolittle. I mean, Goldie's driving the ball all over the yard today too. He's hammered it to the right side. This one pulled down the left field line.
And here is Nolan Arenado. 2 hits today, runs scored, and an RBI. And the first pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. His first hit was an infield hit in the first, RBI single in the second, robbed by Nick Senzel, who then had to leave the game after a diving catch and then was called out on strikes. And Arenado pops it up near the Reds dugout and out of play. And it's another opportunity with a runner in scoring position for Nolan Arenado. 3 times he has come up with a man in scoring position.
That's been so nice to see. Just some danger on the base pass overall for the Cardinals. Cardinals 6 for 9 so far today with runners in scoring position.
No balls and 2 strikes. Held on to and a strikeout of Arenado. Getting loose in the Cardinal bullpen, it's Alex Reyes, and a strikeout of the Cardinal third baseman. There's DeYoung. RBI, run scored back in the first. He's lined out, hit into a double play, and struck out. And there's strike 1. Cardinals with 6 strikeouts in their lineup today. Reds have struck out 7 times. Reyes comes into the game. He'll be the 6th pitcher used by St. Louis. Doolittle is pitcher number 5 for the Reds. And a ground ball hit sharply to third. Moustakas up with it, makes the play. Staying put at second, Goldschmidt. 2 outs and Tyler O'Neill. Doolittle, we've seen him in the National League. He was with the Nationals and also spent time with the Oakland A's.
His last 2 years with the Nationals weren't his best, but before that, I mean, he's one of the more dominant relievers in baseball.
He was the 41st overall pick by the A's back in 2007. Little check swing and a foul ball. It's part of the deal with the Nationals, along with Ryan Madsen, for Blake Trinan. And signed a 1-year, $1.5 million contract with Cincinnati. Goldschmidt will stay put. 2 strikes on Tyler O'Neill.
I was watching some highlights of Blake Trinan the other night of his 100-mile-an-hour sinker.
Nasty.
A la Jordan Hicks.
Gets away, but Goldie stays put. 6 runs in the first. Cardinals team record on opening day since 1900. Dylan Carlson, the 3rd youngest Redbird to hit an opening day home run. Cardinals history. 8 of the 9 Cardinal hitters today have scored at least a run. And we've seen 4 relievers go 3 2/3, 15 batters faced, no runs, only 3 hits. Here's a 1-2 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 runs scored today for Tyler O'Neill. Was hit by a pitch, part of that 6-run inning in the first. Fly to right, 2-run homer in the fourth, and grounded out to third. And the 2-2. Three-two pitch, and a swing and a miss. Strikeout of O'Neill. A couple of strikeouts in the inning. Goldschmidt left stranded. We head to the bottom of the ninth on opening day. Everybody excited about this young man, healthy, ready to roll, and that is Alex Reyes.
Well, we were talking about the excitement around the Cardinals bullpen. A lot of that excitement does center around Alex Reyes. The numbers from last season, the Chevy call to the bullpen, 19 2/3, the 3.2 ERA. And that's the number I love to see, the over 12 strikeouts per 9. One of the things you love to see Reyes cut down on is the walks in general, right? The overall command. But this spring, he looks so in control, and his command looks so good, whether it be of the fastball, spotting that up, the breaking ball he had a good feel for. It'll be really interesting to see on this cold day how the feel for the curveball is coming out of his hands. But Alex Reyes, I got a feeling there are a couple of guys that they're going to be talking about nationally a lot out of this bullpen. Reyes and Hicks are going to get a lot of play this year.
And rightfully so.
Yes, sir.
So he'll get the heart of this lineup. Castellanos, Votto, and Suarez. Now we can talk about the home runs hit. We can talk about how good the bullpen has been. But one of the key plays in this game, Castellanos against Ryan Helsley back in the 6th inning. Hits a liner to left with 1 out, bases loaded, and that turns into an inning-ending double play as Stevenson was doubled off at second base. Not sure where he's going. And it results in a double play, and it ended the threat. This was a huge play in this game.
This was it. This was it. This changed everything in this ball game. And again, like Stevenson wasn't even looking, wasn't picking up his third base coach. Obviously, just didn't have his head in the situation. Helsley was on the ropes at that point.
Absolutely. I mean, you just wonder, did he not realize there's only 1 out? Did he think the ball was going to get down? But it wasn't even close. Reyes last year at 3.20 ERA, 7 earned runs and 19 2/3. He struck out at least 2 in 10 of his 15 appearances. Now this is a non-save situation, up by 5, but I think as the Cardinals ease Jordan Hicks back into the fold, you're going to see some times where Alex Reyes is maybe in those save opportunities.
Yeah, Mike Schill talked about Reyes before the game, just said, hey, these are the types of games they envision him in, close enough games with the lead late. We'll see a lot of it. A lot of people I know wanted to see Reyes in the rotation at the beginning of the year. The Cardinals said, look, we want to watch his innings. We want to take care of him, want to build him up for next year. But you knew it then, you know it now. Whatever his role is, whatever it develops into, it's going to be an impact role.
Hit up the middle and a base hit. Three-hit day for Castellanos. Tell you what, he easily could have 5 hits today.
Yeah.
He was robbed by Justin Williams in the first, and then that play that was lined out to Tyler O'Neill. Fastball outside. Joey Votto. It's popped out, fly to right, RBI single to center, and popped out in foul territory against Genesis Cabrera in his last at bat. Cardinals turn that double play back in the 6th. 2-0 the count. And Votto lifts a high fly ball into center with room. Carlson makes the catch. Castellanos back to the bag at first, and there's one away. Suarez has been on base 3 times. Solo home run to right field back in the 4th. Walked in the 5th and walked in the 7th. 1 for 2 with those 2 walks. Again, it's an off day tomorrow for the Cardinals and Reds. And we'll be back at it again on Saturday, 3:10. That will be our next telecast, 2:30, with the pregame show here on Bally Sports. Runner at first, Castellanos. And it's a ball and a strike. It'll be Adam Wainwright, who was so good last year against Tyler Mahle. Sunday, Carlos Martinez and Jeff Hoffman. And the Cardinals head back out on the road. They'll be in Miami. Going out, Tommy Edman to make the catch, and there's 2 away. Mike Moustakas is fly to left, grounded out, sac fly, RBI in the 5th, and a walk in the 7th. Ball 1.
It's a pitch that we were talking about. See what the field looks like as it's colder. How does Reyes spin that breaking ball a little bit? It just kind of looks like it popped out of his hands.
That is nasty.
Nice adjustment right there, right?
Fielder's indifference for Castellanos, and now Reyes looking into his hat. If you're wondering why, there's cards, laminated cards that they have in case a runner gets in scoring position and they change up the signs. You don't waste a mound visit going through the signs, and look at that card, indicate what you want to Yachty, and move on. The 1-1. Kept in front by Molina. Shaking that right arm, too. That hurt.
That's the thing about Yadier Molina, and I'm honestly not sure how he stopped that one, but I think I've said that a million times in his career, is that guy is just a big walking bruise by the end of the season, but you'd never know. He never nurses anything, never babies anything. He's as tough as nails behind the plate.
Takes a look at his arm there, and the 2-1 pitch to Moustakas. Talked to Yachty about that. That is by design and how he blocked that ball. So where some guys will go to their knees, and if he feels he's almost in between and can't do it, sticks his glove out, kind of pancakes the baseball.
Jens it.
Yep. Little tricks of the trade.
Yeah, well, and you can't just pick up some of these things. You got to learn on the fly, and you got to take thousands and thousands of reps. Especially like a pitch like that where you're not expecting it to hop in. You don't have time to get down all the time and block that thing and square it up. So if you could just slow it down, you're okay.
Pitch number 17 for Alex Reyes. Here it comes. Taken low, and Castellanos takes the bag at third, and runners at the corners after the walk. Cardinals have issued now 5 walks in this game. And Aquino again will bat with 2 runners on. He's pinch hitting in the 5th. Popped out, fly to right. That was with 2 runners at first and second, and now he's got first and third, and 2 down as Alex Reyes is trying to end this ball game. Here's a 1-0 pitch. That is nasty right there.
Yeah, good slider right there. You've got Aquino in swing mode. He's ahead in the count. Important to be able to throw something off speed where you feel like you could throw it for a strike. This one looks like a strike. Bottom drops out.
The 1-1 pitch. And he did go 1-2. It's a different motion this year when you watch Reyes and Hicks really have shortened up how they deliver to the plate.
Yeah, and the shortened arm motion, I think it allows you to get your arm up a little bit quicker instead of the longer moving parts where your timing has to be perfect. That quick arm gets through.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Reyes blew it by him, and the Cardinals win the first game of 2021, a final of 11-6.
Well, it feels like it's been a long time coming to get to opening day, to get to this moment, to see fans in the stands, and it was worth the wait to this point. Cardinals bullpen locks it down, gets the job done. 4 2/3 scoreless innings out of the pen. The offense getting it done early and often. 11 runs in this ball game. Dan, the 6th spot in the first inning. You know that Mike Schilt, Jeff Albert, the entire staff love what they saw offensively from this ball club, and a relentless approach, especially early on, of not giving in, putting the ball in play.
And we'll keep it right here momentarily. We'll throw it to Jim Hayes, and we'll hopefully have a visit with Dylan Carlson. Throw the headset on and get a visit with Dylan, and the first pitch that he saw of 2021 hit it down the right field line and knocked it off the foul pole. And with that, the Cardinals were off and running in game 1 of this 162 marathon that is a baseball season.
Yeah, I love it for the Cardinals. I love it specifically for Dylan Carlson, a guy that Cardinal Nation is so excited about and know that he's going to make an impact this year. For him to do it on the first swing, looking forward to hear from the young Dylan Carlson.
Let's throw it over to Jimmy. Jimmy.
All right, Dylan Carlson had the big 3-run homer in the first inning. Can you hear us okay, Dylan? Can you hear us? Dylan, you got us? They're trying to work it out. He's got the headset on.
You guys got me?
Dylan, can you hear us yet? First game of the season. It happens. Let's see if we can. Dylan, can you hear us now?
What's up? I can hear them. I don't know if they could hear me. Yeah.
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Dylan?
Up or something a little bit?
I'm going to send it over to Danny. We'll try to put this on tape. Danny, take it away. We tried.
All right, Jimmy. We'll still hear from Dylan Carlson coming up. Looking forward to that. His home run, a hit off the foul pole in right early on. Cardinals were off and running. 6-0 at that point. Tyler O'Neill also a home run in this game. And the bullpen was lights out. Cardinals win the season opener.